qualifiers being on the previous set. And now it's a question of, okay, is that the truth or just a fantasy as we jump in to Braum encounter to start things off, Upe, as it is going to be Team Liquid versus ROC, and we're going to take a look at Ego to kick things off.
Yeah, we'll have gold subscription, that's the Braum, so just a little influx, a little more resources for the players. Maybe not as much as Cuddle Puddles, but you can think about Kale, you can think about rerolls that normally require a little more gold right here, and of course, Ego getting a GP early, and you have to be happy about it.
Yeah, I think Ego is stoked to just be like, all right, well, I guess me GP, unless we see other players from TL also picking it up with a better spot. Gangplank is just going to be the most powerful unit on the patch, and you know, we even talked about potentially there's supposed to be more than 2 Gangplanks per game, 1 on each team. Sometimes maybe you're even supposed to play an additional, as we see even Ego looking to tailor for the Gangplank. Find stretchy arms and Midas touch. I assume we're just going to go for the stretchy arms and call it a day and never have to try and look for it again.
Yeah, makes sense. Of course, you want to influx of gold, but just ensuring stretchy arms right here is the best outlet right now, getting the range, getting the additional damage. And now already in a great position here to try to contest this composition. So ROC will have to decide who will be the one who will play the GP from behind. From behind in fruit, from behind in having the units, but you have to. If you leave alone, one person just playing the GP is just out of control.
Yeah, taking a look at Songyop, he just had an Udyr in that he may keep around. Panda has a Mundo and a Jhin, so very likely to be that composition locking in. I mean, you don't have to, but when you've got some of the early units, tends to be better to kind of identify your line early in 4v4 so that your team can play around it. So kind of looking at a Jhin Mundo, might as well just play the line. Yeah,
it's one of the 3 comps that we have seen the most. Of course, GP first, then Sorks, and then this Jhin Mundo line. Mundo so impressive, only 2-star. And of course, if you're trying to make a 3-star, has some possibilities. We saw it with the Talisman of Ascension. That was pretty cool to watch.
Oh yeah,
from what Juggler in a previous with Mouth. Maybe not winning at the end, but of course, one of those niche spots that we were talking about, Cass, the X Factor. You need to find a place outside the meta that works. And of course, I will be very attentive to see what the teams can bring us in that aspect.
Yeah, interesting. Last second save, aura farming, and heavyweight. Heavyweight can be okay in this comp because heavyweight Mundo is just very powerful to have that augment, but I do think that just having the combat power with last second save makes the most sense, and we see that as the pickup. As we have potentially a contest here, I think they were probably considering between the two who has the better spot, as Araye also going to have Mundo and Jhin, and ends up picking up a rapid fire cannon to go alongside that.
Yeah, Echo also with the keepers, very flexible keepers. Normally we started seeing in the set with duelists, but actually works in almost any comp right now. Steps Sniper because you need to get them, of course, with a little range. So good possibilities here. Clutter Mine also for Dr. O, thinking about that level 8, fast 8, even fast 9 could be a possibility here. We see a Riot right now slamming Winsus, getting the rapid fire cannon, so full range, going up against Babsera, who already committed to the AP line and having also the possibility to level up.
Yeah, he's got the patient study, so I'm going to assume that that's going to be Sorks. I think we've seen that as the premier AP comp. However, it is just a jeweled gauntlet slam, so it could still be Prodigies later on. I see with the early Lucian, though, I think Sorcerers is very, very likely to be the direction that Boppy goes.
Yeah, it's the default for sure. Right now, Dr. O, also slamming Amorello, could be flexible, or also holding Battle Academia units right now, holding the Sork, so being open to any of the possibilities of line, being flexible also in the front line, having this second Kobuko, and with Midas Touch, just trying to ramp up a little the economy. Lucas, on the other hand, now with Prodigy assembled, but just holding units right now, Cass, not with a great position. I feel this is more like a maybe lose streak kind of angle.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like we're going to have Lucas, Prodigy, Babzera, Sorks, and those are going to be kind of defined. I agree with you. It's just kind of look for the early loss streak, but I'm curious if Lucas has some kind of Cook reroll that he would go instead.
If someone has it, has to be Lucas.
It might be just more priority on the Malzahar than other people will and rolling earlier for it, but other than that, I think it's just going to be standard Prodigy coming out of them. And then we've got, you know, Ego on Gangplank, and then really the question is just where does VCLF end up, because the rest of the team seems to be spoken for on their comps.
Yeah, also VCLF has another Gangplank, so maybe this was something that we were discussing. There's a possibility that 2 players in the same team play Gangplank, and that's totally viable. Normally, you get a little diminishing returns, obviously, when you go for it. So now the decision for ROC, Do we not play the game plan and just hold it? That could be a chance, but of course, this is tier S unit. What do you do? So right now, the Brazilian player from Tiliqua just said, okay, the game plan is tier S, we will all play it.
Yeah, it's interesting. We actually saw Twisted Minds do this against Citadel. They actually played 2 versions of Gangplank on the same team while there was one Gangplank on the side of Citadel, and it didn't end up working out for Twisted Minds in that game, but it was a very close game. It wasn't a blowout by any means, and it felt like maybe the Gangplank can get there if your team even plays the 2 copies of it. So I'm curious if we'll see Liquid just commit to both of them playing it, or if they'll decide to have a pivot out at some point, as the Bloodthirster is the slam from Ego, which is not traditionally going to be, you know, one of the best items that you'll see on Gangplank.
Yeah, he's holding on to Swords, he's holding on to Kale, so has some additional possibilities here. Will be very interesting what they end up against. We have now some more options of what they're doing. Arraye going for also a rapid fire cannon there with the Gnar. We have Bapsera already seen with the AP. So, I mean, they're still with an angle, and interesting for Panda, already getting the 3 Crystal Gambit in the start.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on that Crystal Gambit and see where that goes. I mean, we've seen a couple of times the double down work out, and then also on the other side, we've seen the double down be a complete disaster. And so it is possible that it will just be kind of one early cash out while you're lose streaking early, or we may see Panda actually look for that full commit.
Yeah, we're staying now with Bapsera or Bapsera, you can call him either way. And this is the young gun from Brazil. This is an amazing player, playing aggressive, playing good, playing very flexible, especially in the middle of the game, in the mid game. Yeah, being so flexible, playing strongest board, and this is a player that always impresses me. And there's always a lot to learn here. Being flexible right now in the front line, playing that Lucian, and just trying to ramp up the tempo of the lobby, going up against his teammate. Also, Lucas on the other hand, already finding the pair of Malzahar.
Yeah, got the pair of Malzahars online, and I mean, honestly, if you get Malz 2 this early in the game, if you can pick up that third piece, Lucas can set up for a massive win streak after this loss streak across stage 2. Stage 3, just hit the Malz and go.
Yeah, Visila finding here the Krakens right now for the GP, so huge more damage. And as you said, maybe 2 possibilities, maybe going for the Duelist as a chance. We're seeing Duelist in the start. Normally it's the transition until you go for another place, but there's a world where he plays the Duelist as a front. That's normally the way the game plan used to be played. You play game plan, then go for the Viego. But of course, now people are just trying to play the game plan with the mech.
So good.
And Mentor, yeah, it's just so amazing. But I mean, there's angles, and I know if someone can do it, it's the Brazilian team.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch this from VCLF. It seems at this point, VCLF is for sure locked as the Gangplank player, with the stretchy arms, with having the rapid fire cannon as well, right? Like, this is clearly staying Gangplank.
Yeah.
The question just becomes, does Ego actually stay there as well? Because we saw it was just a Bloodthirster slam. It's really nothing that was like, oh, this has to be Gangplank, other than he found stretchy arms Gangplank as well. So I'm very curious which way TL is going to take this. And now it's really about kind of breaking down what each of the ROC comps are, because I think some of them were a little less defined than what Team Liquid already was out the gates. Yeah,
and it's interesting because we haven't seen anyone pivot out of Gangplank normally, and what is the cost of opportunity, right? You have 2 players playing it, maybe not with the additional items like you say for Ego, so it will be very interesting to see what will be the change. So Bapsera finds the Karma right now, and in a great position to play Swords.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at the streaks right now. I mean, I think this is massive for TL. You have 2 5 win streaks, and then Ego on a 4 streak.
Wow.
And then at the bottom side, Lucas got the full loss, whereas 2 ROC players only were able to complete 4 losses across the stage 2. So all the econ and HP massively in the favor of TL on stage 2. Already.
Purple sandwich here, and dominance in HP and in economy right now, as you said, with both win streak on their favor. So dominance right now for Team Liquid. We're seeing here Bapsera on the bottom and Arraye, the Filipino, on the left. And now good possibilities here. Not finding the pair still for the Malzahar. Slamming also here the Archangels. You're having a ramp-up possibility. And just, I mean, Archangel, I love the items in Yumi especially. And of course, that would be the angle here for Lucas. Just being prevalent here. And of course, as you said, until he finds the Malzahar 2, I think he will stay a little more in this low streak.
Yeah, I think he's happy to loss streak, and then if he just happens upon it, he could actually just like look to level and maybe roll a little bit, just like fully stabilize the board. Really just push the win streak once he gets this Malzahar online. It's also just potential that maybe he just 3-2, goes 6, and rolls down a little bit just to stabilize this board as well, because he got the early econ very heavily for Lucas alongside these two ROC members that were trying to loss streak, but it's still just a very advantageous position. As we got Dr. O, looks like Prodigy is going to be kind of more locked in once we see that Gunblade slam alongside the Merlinomicon.
Yeah, and Full Battle Academia, of course. That will be the angle for Dr. O. So he will be the one contesting Lucas on the Prodigy line. So we have 2 Prodigy players, 1 AP players, and we have Prismatic right here with the decision invested for some includes of economy critical here for water loss. And we have now a chance for them to decide. So there's the crit chance, and that will be the angle here for BCLF.
Yeah, and Araya ends up going into Gangplank, was on a Jin Mundo track early, swaps it up with this rapid fire cannon. That makes a lot of sense to try and find the Gangplank from there and go there, leave it open for Panda, who is also potentially on the Jin Mundo track. And so I think Araya, having the Gangplank too, actually in a slightly even better position than VCLF. However, VCLF did get that full win streak and is still streaking here in stage 3.
Yeah, he's rolling here, trying to find the pair here of
found
TP.
a Rise.
Finds the Udyr. Yeah, there's a Rise, so Mentor is already on place, but he didn't find the GP2. Of course, Mentor very important. He didn't even find the Kobuko 2. So a little luck finding the 4 Mentors, but not actually in a critical position here to keep winning.
Yeah, and Ego is actually still just playing 2-star GP here, which is definitely hurting VCLF that there's so many Gangplanks out of the pool. But because he's already on 4 Mentor, there is consideration to just be like, okay, Ego's also going to Tempo GP, and you can just find the GP2 and push levels because you've got 4 Mentor in already. You're so strong.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, we saw it in Araya. Araya got economy augment, and I thought he was going to roll for value, but no, he got the GP2 and he stayed, and now he will go for that level 7 and try to cap out the board. Panda, on the other hand, playing Storks for now with 3 Clistar Gambit, 118, not bad at all here. And we'll have a pretty decent catch out here to get more resources and try to accomplish something interesting. For now, the Ari is the one holding the items and no frontline. So he's just trying to get ideal items right here. He has the belts. And I mean, looking pretty strong right now for Sanjop, this super sack in the front.
Yeah, worth the wait, Zach. Very, very powerful with this belt overflow double Warmogs. This is an incredibly tanky Zach. However, there is no damage on this board yet at all for Songyop. I mean, we are looking at this Jin 1. It might be enough to have the Zach, but it's certainly going to be a struggle as there's an Echo now for Bobzera, finding that Isekai to go along with the composition. And yeah, I mean, the front line's gone. There's just no damage. There is 0 damage on this board. So even with that Zac with the belt overflow, it's not even close.
Wow, amazing for Bobzera. Maintaining the tempo, as we said, just playing full strongest board right here. And they both are holding handcast in the front. Full win streak here for both Bobzera and Ego Illusions, and they're just in a prevalent position right now. We have some pans here and an spatula as a possibility. Lucas is the one who gets one of them.
Yeah, Songyop gonna pick up a pan. Lucas got a pan. Spatula still around. It looks like TL has control of that spat wherever they want it to go. If either Bobzera, nope, Ego is gonna be the one who picks up the spat. Looking at his spot, he has now slammed an Archangels on his GP alongside the Bloodthirster. So he is going out of GP at some point. Where do you think he's going with this Archangel slam now?
I mean, we have to see. Maybe he will stay on vertical or duelist reroll. That could be a possibility. But I love the slam because when you have the Archangel on the GP, you get 200% possibilities of gold. But you have to give it additional angle. So this is great. This is something I do in solo queue just to grid. And it's great to see right now here as a possibility. The transition cast, we will have to see it. I can only assume it could be Viego items, but normally you want to be bursty on duelist. So it actually doesn't make sense on the archetype. We'll check later on him to check the results. Bobzera right now transferring the items to the Karma. So still maintaining strong and just trying to maintain this tempo and punish the rest of the lobby.
If feels like Liquid is finding everything they want, right?
Yep.
I mean, we identified Bapzera wanted to be Sorks very early in this game. Level 7 immediately hits a Karma. Still 50 gold, still 9 win streaking. He can just go 8 casually, doesn't have to actually overspend. They can afford to be greedy because they're actually hitting a lot of this stuff just kind of naturally. And so I think this lead is going to be very difficult for ROC to overcome. And maybe the benefit for them is that Lucas is on this 9 loss, 26 HP.
Yep.
If they can jail Lucas and actually make him take the 8th, it'll actually give them quite a bit of space to try and find a way back into the game.
Yeah, that's a great out and a great call right there. BCLF is the one who was in the win streak with Bapzera, loses the win streak right now, so Bapzera will be the one punishing the lobby and maintaining the tempo. We're not seeing Lucas. So he just trying to go for this. Malzahar already got it on place, finds the Prodigy emblem. That was the pan being used right there. And now this is amazing, Cass, because now he doesn't need the Seraphine. He can get the 5 Prodigy, 5 Battle Academia on level 8 in an easy way, and that's the cap out outcome. That's the win out possibility.
Yeah, and if he does also have a duplicator on the bench, so if he's able to find just a pair of Yumis, he can get the 2-star, which I think is incredibly important for that composition and for Lucas to stabilize, because he just needs to hit ahead of the curve, and we'll probably see that 4-1 roll down. He'll just take this full loss and then go from there.
Yeah. We have to keep an eye here on Lucas to see what's going on. Dr. O's also being strong here, finding the Jhin. I think that's a Jhin 2 also on the bench. No, it's a Jhin 1, so he's actually very far away from getting the full comp in place. And we know Jhin is stable because of the Mundo, but if you want to accomplish maybe a top 4, even a top 3 or something better, you have to go for the reroll of the comp, and he's actually very far for now.
Yeah, we have to watch Dr. O versus essentially Lucas on this 4-1 roll down because Dr. O is directly contesting, looking for those prodigies. Bapzera able to 10 streak as well. I love the tempo echo when you were already in a good spot because it's just immediately going to be a lot of power onto your board. Finding that Karma was so big, but now you can just kind of slowly level to 8. He's already very ahead as far as gold is concerned. And here's Lucas versus Dr. O. Here comes the big roll down. Look for the Yumis. What can get hit? Neither side finding the Yumi just yet. We're seeing a couple of 5 costs on the side of Dr. O. There's one Yumi for Lucas. Just needs to find one more, and he has the duplicator to get there.
Yeah, no, Leona still also to have the Battle Academy in place. Finds the Garen 2, at least to get a little more frontline.
Yumi for Dr. O now. Okay. And as you said, having the Leona on Dr. O's side and not having it for Lucas, that roll down was not what Lucas needed. It did not get there. Still trying to anchor around this 2-star Rel as the front line. Going up against Araye, who found the Gangplank 3 during the 4-1 roll down.
Great place here. The Filipinos here for ROC. Being the hero in the last series right now, once again in a great possibility here, takes out Lucas, who didn't find the Leona as we mentioned, and will have to keep donkey rolling here to try to stabilize. Final elements here, we have gold once again, so now we're seeing the decision. Know your enemy. He knows they're being contested, and he's playing more horizontally here on the traits, so it's easier for him to get the additional pumping up in damage for him.
Well, and he's still just playing this kind of flex board. It's around 2 duelists. It just has a bunch of traits, as you said, right? Like, he's just looking, I guess maybe all-out Cassante is a potential here, and the AP items can still find a home, but yeah, actually, this is maybe works. AP items find a home immediately onto the Akali. Supreme Cell all-out Cassante. All right, we found it. We found where Ego was going with this, and that works really nice with the Know Your Enemy because of just how vertical that trait web goes.
That's amazing. First time we see in the tournament that someone plays Tempo GP into transition right now for the all-out Cassante, as you mentioned. There's Supreme Cell all-out Cassante right here, and finding this is amazing. And again, the creativity, the magic from the Brazilians, taking the win, taking the full tempo from Bapzera, the loose trick from Lucas, and as you said, the win-out possibility here for Rock Panda. First one, try to take Lucas on the 8th place and then try to avoid something else. GP is down.
Just all-out Cassante gets onto GP3, takes it down. Ego going to be able to keep his HP high. He's been doing a great job. He had the massive win streak to start. And then from there, taking some losses, losing a lot of HP, but he's still in a very good position. VCLF as well had that big early win streak. So really between Bapzera, VCLF, and Ego, they saved a lot of HP for the team. Meanwhile, Lucas still looking to stabilize it. Looks like he grabbed a win on this last fight, down on 15 life. And the question is can he find the Yuumi 2? He just needed one more copy because he did have that duplicator.
Yeah, he needs to stabilize quickly and right now. And love to see that there's counters in TFT. Normally, you only see archetypes, but actually the counter for the GP is that all-out K'Sante, because GP only targets as the lowest HP unit, but K'Sante is pretty buffy and pretty strong, so she's actually almost the last one to be encountered. Once again, there goes the Akali with the Radiant. Archangels will be so strong, losing aggro and also healing herself.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive, right? A lot of fights with the Akali go pretty late because she's just kind of dancing around, so you'll get a lot of this AP, and the other two items being purely for survivability. If this all-out K'Sante fails, you have this amazing secondary carry. I mean, honestly, she's kind of the primary carry at this point of the game, but it will be such a great secondary carry throughout.
Yeah, doing a great job. Access to the backline, so important also to get those significant carries on the rest. We have a Zaira. Something interesting here, there's a win for the Sorc players also as a possibility.
Yeah, notably, that was Panda's all-out K'Sante board. So there's actually, it is contested, Ego contesting into it, playing the Supreme Cell version. And I was wondering where the Supreme Cell emblem was when I was watching that fight. And that's because, well, no, this is just the other all-out board, which is Panda playing it for ROC.
Okay, once again, they're focusing, they're talking here, just trying to make sure they know what's the plan from now on. So great communication here, especially on Carousel. Not only on the start, but also finishing the Carousel. Okay, here's the plan. We have to preserve HP. Maybe I can borrow some things right now. And this is the exact moment where normally the room, the play, the game is decided here, Cass. They need maybe to stack for el Solucas if it's needed, avoid the 8th, and then they're in a full position, in a full dominant position on the top to take the win.
Yeah, the question becomes, do they think Lucas can escape this, and especially escape the 8th, right? Because the lowest member of ROC is Araye on the 3-star Gangplank. I have to imagine it's going to be tough for Araye to actually get sent 8th from here, though he has lost the last 2 fights. Meanwhile, Lucas was still on 1-star Leona, 1-star Yuumi. The item's not exactly there yet, so it might not be entirely worth trying to keep him around. But actually does end up using the duplicator. Found the pair of Leonas, duplicator's gone, decides to upgrade the front line. However, the back line is still severely lacking. If he can win fights on his own against Panda, that's amazing. But I don't know if Liquid needs to actually try and preserve Lucas's HP at this point. It might just be, hey, Lucas, if you win rounds, great, but we're not going to actually sack life for you.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, Lucas taking the loss here, taking the L, but full dominant position. Ego falls. Now he was 3rd in HP, and now we have him in 33. So now a difficult position for Brazil. Full dominance on stage 2 and 3, and now on stage 4, everything is being more parity-wise. Panda being the one in the win streak right now for ROC, and with a possibility to be the win-out player.
Yeah, I think that all K'Sante board for Panda looks pretty insane. I think the Radiant item on Akali, Radiant Archangels, really helping. And the comp is a bit ahead of the curve right now, right? Because it was still not even on the K'Sante 2, but it had the Akali 2, which I think early in stage 4, incredibly powerful. So if Panda can keep upgrading that board, definitely a great position to win out. This is Dr. O versus Lucas, the 2 Prodigy boards going up against each other. However, that is a Yuumi with items versus Yuumi with none. The Malzahar having to anchor as the carry instead, but Malz 2 doing a little bit better than Yuumi 1, and it might get there, and that's another win for Lucas, just holding on a little bit longer, seeing if he can find one more placement.
Guys, the difference was having the Prodigy emblem right here, just so much damage that you can accomplish with the mana regeneration, and also the healing that he can provide with the vertical for the Leona. Leona 3, Leona 2 with 3 items, just being strong. Babsera trying to swap a little here. Hasn't found the Karma 2, so losing a little more of that tempo that he had in the early phases.
But that's because he's going fast 9, right? We see this, he's going to hit 9 right after neutrals here, decides, you know what, it's okay, I'm going to greed, I'm going to lose out stage 4, but what the trade-off is his odds to hit the Gwen extremely, I mean, just so much significantly higher than if he stays on 8, and recognizing that Sorcs are relatively uncontested in this game, so he won't be out of Karma's, no way to hit Karma if he does go to 9. I really, really like this recognition. And he gets rewarded. There's just no way he gets the Gwen. Now it's a fast 10 angle for Babsera.
Trying to roll a little more here, finds an additional Karma, already has the pair, trying to find the pair of Gwen, that Karma 2, so important there it is, pair of Gwen, and now he needs to roll. There's no need to wait anymore. Donkey rolling is the best spot we are here, especially trying to find the Gwen 2. that is so important right now, and he has the items to put in. He already has the night sets and also the void staff that is perfect on the Gwen, that she's able to do AoE on the whole board of the enemy.
Yeah, you make a good point, right? The entire comp is on 9. You actually just don't even need another slot. And now, you know, you're on a pair of Gwens. You just have to find one. Just roll the 0 every single round. And Babzera actually in a position to potentially win out. This is the spot where Sorks can actually win games. And I think Babzera is definitely in that position. As we do see Araye going up against Lucas, and this is going to be the final stand for Lucas. He's going to get taken down by the Gangplank. Didn't even have a chance for his team to sack for him, just fought a bunch of ROC members in a row, but I do think TL would have sacrificed Lucas at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you have to, now the important thing is for Ego not to go 7th, because if not, the win condition will be 1 and 2 for Babzera and VCLF that they can be able to accomplish, but Panda is in a full win streak right now, so you cannot be playing onto that out. You need to avoid Ego going this, and you need to go, send Dr. O 7th at least to have a chance to win in an easier way.
I agree. I think the buffer for 1-3 is a lot more doable, because I think Babzera could take down Panda. I do think, you know, the burst from having the Gwen and the Karma, I think he's in a great position to win the game. And the question is can VCLF actually be stronger than Araye and Panda? And I'm not sure if he can actually do so. So really keeping Ego alive might actually be worthwhile, because they might have the health to spare this time around.
Yeah, Araye using the removers right now, taking the items out of the Gunplan, making sure he doesn't punish the teammates.
Same happens here. Babzera's Ghost. The Karma had the items removed, but now the items could get re-slammed. Dr. O into Panda. Panda removed items as well. No items on the Sakali, so Dr. O gonna survive. And it is not able for TL to kind of take down Dr. O, but they do keep Ego alive for another round.
So important, Babzera maintaining that HP lead to now help the teammates. So this is perfect 4v4 play from both of the teams. So now it's a matter of who gets the remover, who gets the most remover right now, who has saved them for this particular moment. And now Dr. O on the right, Ego on the left. Ego is pretty strong, but I don't think maybe if he just faces someone a little better, as you say, the bursty compositions are the ones that are good against K'Sante.
I think with the Akali being contested and not being able to find Akali 2, I think it hurt Ego quite a bit, because I actually think that this composition had the potential to be doing the same to what Panda is doing with the Supreme Cell K'Sante, but just the problem being the Akali never found the upgrade.
Okay, and we have a Ghost on the right, so better position here for ROC. So is VCLF the one who will go up against Ego. VCLF is full damage, but only with the Gunplan 2-star. So this should be enough. It's very close fight, but it should take the win here for Ego and maintain. Yeah, there it is. Ego in a good position right here. Now watching Dr. O fight, just to see if they have good possibilities here. Dr. O wins also.
TL really needs to get Ego out of here, because looking at VCLF's board, I don't think he's getting second. I don't think he's actually going to have that capability. And so with that being said, I think ROC's position is significantly better here. They just have to take Ego out, and from there, I don't know that VCLF is going to be able to stop Panda or Araye.
Yeah, Ego finding here the Protector's Vow, ideal for the Jarvan, just trying to maintain himself alive, maybe trying to go for the double ult on that Jarvan, so important. Fist Glove here for Araye, just maintaining good tempo and getting additional stat, and Panda just getting good items here also to maintain possibilities. Once again, the story of the game is who goes 7th, who has the possibility here to send 7 the rest. Mundo 3 has been found here for Sanjo.
Yeah, I mean, the HP across the board, most players at 1 life. However, VCLF and Panda, both the players at 2 lives on stage 5 here. Raya can maybe get away with it with a very good loss. But Babzera, 57 HP to spare. Babzera has to hope that he can try and buy some space for VCLF or Ego at this point, because if they can send 2 more ROC players out, then they're really in business for finding the win.
Okay, Sanyo on the left gets a Ghost.
Ego into Araye.
This is the important one. Araye is just too strong here, Cass. Having the GP full damage, weak side here on the right, and GP is just dominating everything. As you say, it will be important if she accomplishes the Akali falls down.
K'Sante?
So there's not enough damage here.
There's another stun. Jarvan cast again.
Whoa.
So now K'Sante's on GP and he's Edge of Night. Ego wins.
Araye just barely stays alive also, and Sanjo Queen, no one is being eliminated. BCLF falls down. BCLF is down, goal 7.
Oh no, that is a disaster for TL. They now have to go 1-2. Ego able to beat Araye, but doesn't send him out of the game. And now they need the 1-2, and Ego, he couldn't find the Akali 2. If he finds it, maybe there's an argument here, especially with him taking down Araye, but Araye is fielding an Akali 2 to try and continue to deny.
Wow, just getting it there and making sure they play. This has been 4v4 in his best level for both of the team. And now Araye going up against his teammate and Panda going up against Ego. This is very difficult for Season 14 Liquid. Cast, they were dominating the first stages and rounds, and now it's all in ROC to take the win in this first game.
The two all-out Casantes going up against each other, and it is just the difference of this upgraded Akali. Ego goes down, and wow, the placements don't look close. This was one of the closest games we have seen with these HP totals, and it just coming down to the wire at the end. ROC hanging on by a thread to keep themselves in it and lock down the win.
They are so happy, and they should be. The initial phase, round 2 and round 3, were totally for Team Liquid. They played it perfectly, but then just trying to ramp up, still maintaining to keep units and avoiding the win-out possibilities here for the rest of the team. Babsera maintaining the win, but BCLF fall down in the worst moment. Everyone was so close. Everyone in the low 2 digits. And in the end, ROC, great win right now. I think for Brazil, they played also amazing. They need to reset mental and then try to do better on the next one. But I mean, great game we have for game one.
I have to call out for TL is the issue that they had here is Babsera has 57 HP at the end of the game here, right?
Yeah.
They certainly could have maybe used Babsera's HP a little bit better, try and find a little more space, because we got to the end there, ROC having everyone so incredibly low.
Yep.
If Babsera was able to give even one life over to another TL player throughout this entire game, it might have been the entire difference.
Yeah. Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot because of the way the matchmaking is being fixed.
Yeah.
I think they tried sometimes. We saw the way they were removing items. He did it for 1 round, but yeah, ideally you want to do it for more. You don't want to go that threshold of 57 additional as you just mentioned. But once again, this is just the way the cards were dealt in here. ROC, so happy. Araye with that big smile on his face. So wholesome to see right now. And Babsera just keeping the focus, trying to maintain the mental up, and just trying to win the game here for Team Liquid, even though they have lost the game 1.
Yeah, of course. And Babsera, I mean, we said as soon as we saw that initial Gwen hit at level 9 at the very start, Babsera was definitely going to win this game. And he does get the first for the team. I mean, Endless Panda can randomly start winning a bunch of rounds, but this is a Gwen 2, Jarvan 2. I mean, this is just like fully upgraded Sork's board. I think he's got it locked up.
Yeah, and obviously Swords with the possibility of bursting the additional units here will have a chance here to accomplish against Panda. So yeah, the favorite should be Babsera here, should take the win, and Team Liquid will have to just adapt for the next one. They have to reset mental, play again, and play good. I mean, the rest of the game played itself if you must, but the way ROC outperformed there, holding the Akali, making sure the rest of Team Liquid couldn't outperforming the rest and cap out the comp was perfectly played. So good recognition, good 4v4, and once again, this is the fight. Babsera taking the win, but it's a bitter one.
Yeah, bitter victory for Babsera as the team falls 1-0 currently to ROC Esports. Great showing out of ROC. Seriously, I mean, impressive team play out of ROC, being able to keep those HP levels all about the same. You saw the sigh of relief when they won. They were all laughing. They were like, oh, wow, we really snuck away with that victory.
Yeah, I mean, a little surprised, but playing for the win condition. They knew they were down, so they had to play the way they did. They had to risk it a little, holding the units from the rest, trying to find BCLF. BCLF for me was a total surprise. I didn't saw him falling down on 7th. Everyone was just so close, and now we're seeing a little what happened. GP found early for both of the teams, and it was the name of the game, but the name of the game was Casante. Super Supreme Cell Casante making the win. Everyone enjoying the fight here, seeing what happened, and of course Araye taking the best part of the game. And we see Babsera, the winner of this game, but actually losing for the team. This is tough. This is tough for them.
I mean, I think there just has to be the reset right there. Still out on the stage. just trying to regroup as a team, make sure that they can turn things around. I mean, this is just so difficult when you have what looked like an easy win and they can't get there.
And ROC managed to get that win on the board. I think your prediction was absolutely incorrect, but you went for a 2-1.
Yeah.
So yours is like still alive. Is this an upset? The fact that they came out the gate swinging so quickly?
I think like what Cass said on the cast, this was one of the closest games I think we've seen. I would say if overall, if ROC were to close this out 2-0, it would definitely be an upset. We've been talking about upsets throughout the whole day. You know, it's been Falcons being knocked out, Fnatic being knocked out, you know, all these big teams. Team Liquid could be the next one as well.
And it's so wild to think that where we started in this game and where we ended up was like range extension. I was pretty much just sitting back and saying like, Team Liquid have got this in the bag from the beginning.
So what went wrong then? Because I feel like everyone was on that exact same page where they're thinking, yeah, Liquid's got this. It's going to be a 1-2 finish at least.
I mean, I think it's just the the mental strength that ROC have built up, even over the short period of time to be able to come back from that one. Because you can forgive them for just checking out mentally at that point and saying, we're going to have better games at better times, but somehow threading the needle.
I think there's a lot of variance in the first carousel as well. We saw a lot of spatulas and pans, which definitely threw a needle in the works. I have to give a huge shout out to some of Team Liquid, you know, going for like Prodigy +1, also going for the Supreme cells on the Kazante all out, which I think was a very unique composition, which we haven't seen too much of this tournament, as you can see on the highlights, but they weren't able to really cap out these boards in the end. You know, only Papa Zero in the end, you know, doing pretty well with his board, but overall the other compositions just weren't able to cap out in the end. And I think overall ROC were able to stabilize their boards, hit their 3 stars and come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just so incredibly impressed with what they did there. I mean, I think, you know, it opens up the conversation further. That was one of the questions coming in today. How do you deal with Gangplank when there's especially the opposing team full of Gangplanks? You know, the melee carry, the Kazante, you know, the Supreme Cell as well. It felt like there were so many really incredible ingredients that Team Liquid were bringing out there, but ROC just absolutely fearless.
Yeah, for the side of ROC, I mean, this is a really, really great start. Liquid, however, on the other hand, question remains, what can they do differently as we're going to head into next game? Where did things go wrong? Are they able to just go back to that drawing board and figure out exactly how they want to approach that next matchup? Because again, your backs are against the wall and your keys is so close to getting crushed. Yeah,
for sure. I think like you said, Counterfeit, with the double RSC happening at the start of this game, I think there was a lot that didn't really go in Team Liquid's way, unfortunately. I think they had really strong starts, they had really strong boards, they had 2 players on a win streak pretty much for these entire games. So it's kind of like what we saw in the previous series. You get that win streak, you get that early advantage, but it's how you close it out, it's how you cap out these boards, because as soon as you get that 7-8, you have to get that first and second to be able to win out on tiebreakers. If not, then ROC can close it out.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams were really swingy coming into the game overall. As we said, particularly for Team Liquid, it was blowout, you know, either for or against them. I'm actually really happy to see them in this situation where it's so close towards the end, because it means that we're kind of growing together, the teams, in terms of skill level. So ultimately, I hope we see another very, very close game rather than one side or the other running away with it.
Yeah, I think that's obviously what we all want to see when it comes to these matchups, especially considering that it is elimination and that we want to see more of these teams. Because if we're being completely fair here, we haven't really seen either one of them like truly show up on the spot. And I think that is kind of like, we want to see something, right? You're on this LAN experience, you're in front of a big audience, you're on the stage as well. You would be doing yourself a disservice if you don't get at least an opportunity to show off some of your skills and some of the improvements that you made over the last couple hours, really.
I mean, that's how short this tournament is overall, and I think that's how brutal it can be as well, with how many games you have to play. It's only 2 days and we're already going to see 4 teams eliminated by the end of this series as well. So I think that when it comes to the mental state for Team Liquid, they have to recoup, they have to go back to the drawing board, figure out what went wrong in game number 1, which I don't think a lot went wrong. You know, we saw like 3 or 4 players on single-digit HPs at the same time, so it all came down to, you know, which boards were stronger and who was able to fight out in the end.
And further to what you're saying, Ginny, as well, you know, there's only so many opportunities in any player's life to play in a situation like this. To play 4v4 at all, but yet to play 4v4 in this kind of environment, it's an opportunity that you just can't let slip by with any regrets.
Yeah, and I think then as well, when we're looking at this matchup, because we're going into the second one pretty shortly, is the fact that we want Liquid to go back to the drawing board and figure out what went wrong. Whereas for ROC, we want them to keep the foot on the gas, especially if you're a ROC fan. You want to see them do well here. You want to see them continue the right approach. What would you say was the correct decisions that they have made that allowed them to lead this into a win?
I think Araya, with the Filipino representative, doing very well with the gangplank early on, actually took the invested, the prismatic augment, rolling very aggressively, stabilizing on that GP2. Some of Team Liquid's members weren't able to even find a GP2 in the end, so I think that was really crucial. Again, that aggressive playstyle that we've been seeing, but also playing around the early pans, the early spatulas. The heavyweight for the Dr. Mundo for Siengyop, being able to play around that, play 4 heavyweight with worth the weight Zach as well. So I think it's a good adaptation. They're able to adapt to what they were given in this game, which they need to stay consistent and keep for that next game.
It really puts me in mind of the previous series as well. It's teams keeping their nerve under pressure when everything screams, just throw something crazy at a wall. But I think in this case, ROC really did keep, stay the course. As you said, with the invested, they took the long-term planning in, even while Team Liquid seemed to be running away with it.
Yeah, and that is it for that first match. And Liquid here needs to hit the ground running. They need to figure out what exactly they can change to make sure that they stay in the competition for just that little bit longer. It is do or die for a team that is doing really well at the club championship points, and ROC, they want to keep their foot on the gas and want to keep going. We're going to be coming back with the second match of this game after the break, so don't go anywhere.
When the world of business is constantly changing, you need to stay ahead. So what about AI to generate new possibilities? Machine learning to predict what customers will like. Or expand your business by forecasting delivery routes with real-time data. With the power of the cloud, imagine how AWS can transform your business.
All right, I'm Casanova here with Alan, and we are going to play a little game. I'm going to draw a champion with my supreme artistic talent, and Alan is going to have to guess, so don't look, Alan. I gotta draw this thing.
Surely it'll be great. First time guess. No doubt. Supreme talent, he said.
All right, we've drawn it. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. We've drawn it. Beautiful artwork here. Alan, what do you think it is?
Oh, that looks like a very stretchy arms unit. Was that H on each side? Is it gun?
It's like a +1.
+1? Oh, it's a gold. It has to be Gangplank.
Yeah, he's got it. There it is. Stretchy arms Gangplank. Been running all over the tournament so far.
Perfect comparison to all we've seen so far.
Out in the I cried, I thought you were my guy. I thought it was real. I thought it was real.
Welcome back to TFT at the Esports World Cup. We are at the S&B Esports Arena watching Game 2 of ROC Esports versus Team Liquid. ROC got the better of Team Liquid in the first game here, Hupe-san, but we'll see if Team Liquid can turn things around. Casanova and Hupe-san on the cast.
So close game 1, and this is the final series, Chad. This is the final game that we have today, elimination match. This is do or die for Team Liquid. They have already been on top in the club championships against Falcon. So this win, any additional points right here, Cass, is getting more threat, more scaling, more distant from Falcon, and being capable of taking the club championship is so important right now. Players are focused, players are ready, and this is the final series, as we mentioned. Let's see how many GPs we have in the early game. And it's impressive that we already saw the counter, right? That Casante may be a little more difficult to find because you need the all-out, but I think the meta is auto-balancing himself.
Yeah, it felt like the all-out Casante was a good way to answer the GP. And also, it just in general, it felt like a very strong composition. It just is difficult to get online, as you said, right? You have to find that particular power-up or else it just doesn't work at all. But on top of that, Casantes are getting taken from like Prodigy players when they're trying to get there for the front line. A lot of other players are just kind of stabilizing their front lines around Casantes. So we're not seeing it be picked up as much as possible. But we are going to get a pretty crazy game here. Lulu has shown up and giving us a trainer golem, 3 emblems for each player. And this is where we start to see some of the maximum caps you can have in TFT when you get these golems with their emblems.
Decider elimination match. This is very important, not only for using your golem in a good way, but just to recognize who has the winning possibilities. Because normally you can have the same golem, but someone has the better out. So they need to decide immediately in the early game who will go for the win streak, who will go for additional plan, who will try just to preserve HP and then trying to go for a top 4. So very important. Right now, Babsera with Battle Academia getting Juggernaut.
It's Panda, but yeah.
Okay, there. Yeah. Panda with a possibility. Now Babsera taking the win here with Executioner, Duelist, Gambit +1. So holding until the Syndra, this could be Gambit early and then try to go for Tempo and then try to go for the 7 Crystal Gambit in the end.
Yeah, I think definitely if you've got the Gambit, you kind of have to start going for it when you have this early, unless you have a really compelling reason to not. On the other side here, Song Yop is going to have Star Guardian, Strategist, and Battle Academia. So Star Guardian, this is another way we can see the verticals. We don't really expect to see too many prismatic traits pop out. Yeah. They now get the quest, right? You kind of get to 8 Star Guardian, 8 Fighter, whatever. You get the quest to try and turn it into a prismatic, and then it becomes game winning. However, it's very difficult to get there. One of the few ways you can is with these trainer golems, you may be able to find a way to get it online by like 3-5, and then there's the very real capability of actually turning that online and getting the prismatic trait.
Yeah, in Star Guardian, for example, you need to spend so many mana, so you need the emblem, you need then the mana saint, you need so many resources to actually just try to go there. Soul Fighter was something that was more being used in the initial of the set, but now being nerfed is not a comp that you actually want to go for. Could be a possibility, but now it opens up this type of angles that you just mentioned. So Dr. O looking for economy here, and no, expect the unexpected, so zooming or adding more variance to the game.
Yeah, ends up finding some 4 costs off of that out the gates, but it's Set and Ashe, so maybe not the exact ones that he would have wanted, but you could still build towards an Ashe Juggernauts from a very early stage in the game when you have these 4 costs way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, he had Supreme Cell and Executioner, so probably going for that Akali and the all-out Casante, perfect for synergies there. And we have both here with Battle Academia in Curse of Araye, also with the heavyweights. This could be an additional angle. Finds the Kaisa early. We know it's a ramping comp, and it could be a good angle here. I don't love it with the emblem that he has, but maybe just a tempo play for now. So let's see what they start to decide here, Cass.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these emblem combinations being too crazy just yet. I mean, we did see, of course, Crystal Gambit for Babzera, and that's one to immediately watch out for. Exalted Adventure, Kabuko, Kaisa, Zaya going to be the setup for Araya. Okay. That's a difficult one to click when you do have these trainer golems as well, because they may not synergize with the emblems once you get it. And as you see with the options that were provided there, they don't synergize except the Kabuko.
Exactly. He can only go for the heavyweight right here, but he needs to accomplish the mission. You get so many resources right now, you can maybe forget a little about the golem, just trying to get him as a beefy tank and use the heavyweight, and that will be the possibility for him. At the moment, right now, Lucas, having the Soul Fighter, having the additional angle with the Wrath, and also the heavyweight, again, just playing tempo for now.
Yeah, Lucas just has an all-out Cassante, though, right away, which is very playable with the +1 Wraith on his Golem. So I'm pretty sure Lucas has found his comp for the game.
Amazing.
In fact.
So good. Also, Wraith, we have seen only, obviously on the Cassante and the rest, but also the vertical is pretty good. If you manage together, so that could be a possibility for Wrath is buff in this patch. And of course, right now, Babzera, just trying to hold up the tempo and using the Crystal Gambit for additional economy. Good chances here with the Supreme Cell and the Executioner, and maybe just using for now a little tempo also with the Sniper.
Yeah, and this is Dr. O with the Crystal Gambit here as well. Babzera has the emblem for it, so they're both going for Crystal Gambit as of now, and we'll see what they end up contesting potentially with the cash outs if they end up both trying to look to double down.
Okay, on the other hand, we see it.
Wait,
there's
what?
the Build-A-Bot.
Oh, Build-A-Bot. That makes sense.
That's the Stindra Build-A-Bot. If you get Rising Chaos, it's totally amazing. That could be a good option there, so we will check there for Babzera. If not, he will have to just play this tempo and maybe even consider selling it in the end, or of course, trying to maintain the 7 Crystal Gambit that is just so good if you manage to find the Syra.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. I mean, if you just want to play 5 Crystal Gambit out the gates, go towards 7, you've got this 3-star, as you said, Rising Chaos, if that gets found. Babzera just needs to try and get that 5 Crystal Gambit online as soon as possible, because he's just going to be playing Win Streak Crystal Gambit throughout most of the early stages of the game.
Yeah, and BCLF, we're seeing that he has prismatic tickets, so he will be committed to this reroll line as a possibility here. Sanjob getting additional items here, holding the Katarina. So this will be a Katarina line, normally a combo in Battle Academia vertical that uses as many items as you can give it. And of course, as you said, there's a possibility. It's very difficult because you have to get so many items to do the prismatic challenge here for the Battle Academia. I've only seen it twice, so it's actually very, very difficult. Could be a possibility here.
It's interesting. Babzera had the potential to go grab that Swain, which would have made 5 Crystal Gambit right out the gates, right? However, ends up taking the tier, trying to make sure that the itemization is actually more important for this Syndra, actually just looking for that early win streak.
Okay. Lucas right now, all-out Cassante, as you mentioned, being so strong here in the beginning thanks to expect the unexpected. So he already has the angle to go for. On the other hand, BCLF, we saw him rerolling, so he's just trying to lose here, trying to maintain the lose streak as much as he can, maintain economy, gave economy, and then try to roll to get the full cash out here and go for the full reroll. It's important that there's Exalted Adventure with the Kaisa, and also BCLF is maybe proposing the Kaisa. So very interesting that a non-premium unit will be so contested, and both of them will try to go for a 3-star.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty good to maybe just contest this Exalted Adventure as much as possible, right? Try and deny those 3 stars. Do not let Araya get the cash out for free. And I think that's one of the scary things about clicking the Adventure in 4v4 is you know that 4 players in this game are going to try and grief you from actually hitting all your 3 stars, as we do see this double down from Dr. O. The question is there any way Babzera can try and actually contest here? Probably not because of the 3-star Syndra.
Yeah, it will be tough right here. Dr. O with a significant loss here, just trying to maintain good possibilities. Lucas is the one with the tempo right now, with the swing and with the win streak. BCLF obviously trying to maintain, and I think Sanjob won, so he loses the lose streak, if you will. So BCLF the only one with the position of getting that influx in economy for now, getting into rocks.
Yep, so it will look like a full win streak for Lucas, so long as the all-out Cassante can take this down. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. Full loss streak potential for VCLF, and can even potentially try and grief Dr. O if they're in the same pool and try and take out that Crystal Gambit.
Okay, there it is. Crystal Gambit against the Super Syndra on the other hand. So it will be a loss here for Ego. Perfect for him to accomplish, and a little less ramping up here for the Crystal Gambit for Babzera.
BCLF able to hold on to the loss streak. Dr. O still losing with the Crystal Gambit. Lucas with the full win. Babzera, Heart of Gold on the Syndra.
So good.
More
so
econ.
many. It's perfect. I mean, if you manage to win here, he's already slamming items. He will get 2 gold per round if the Syndra maintains alive. So ideally, you just need to win, and you go get that influence. And it's so broken, Cass. You get so many economy right here. And this is a great place right here for Babzera. Even though he loses maybe 1 round, it doesn't matter. Just winning maybe half of the round could be enough for him. And then trying to go for that level 9 that will be so important for him to use that Crystal Gambit floor hand and go for the win out spot with the 7.
Yeah, so he's just going to be able to scale there much quicker. Going to push to 6 to try and ensure that he continue the win streak, getting Prodigy in for this Syndra to keep casting away. Has an upgraded Nico for the front line, which I think is kind of insane, right? Upgraded 3 cost on the front line. You've already got this 3-star to 1 cost due to the Build-A-Bud. And so Babzera just in a really great position, not even having to just play the worse Crystal Gambit units because he has the +1.
Yep.
So he can wait until he actually can put in 5 before actually really playing any of those units.
Lucas, once again, having fun already with the Super Casante All Out. Going up against Ego. Ego decides to slime. He knows he's losing, but just trying to preserve a little HP against his teammate that is just totally broken right now.
Yep, that all Casante still just paying dividends. Great pickup off the Prismatic Augment to kick things off as we are going to get our second Augment choice of the game. It's going to be Silvers this time.
Okay, we take a breather here, starting with Prismatic. So now Sanjop trying to get good possibilities here. Goes for additional tempo, so finding the duplicators, it will be great for the Katarina. Trying to roll here for Katarina 2 at least. Finds a Yumi, not ideal because but having the Void Staff is pretty cool, especially in the early game. Keeps rolling, doesn't find the Katarina. He doesn't want to use the duplicator here, and I think he will have to cast. Normally you want to save the duplicator for later and ensure the Katarina 3-star. But if he wants to maintain tempo, he will need to use it right now. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, that is a tough roll down. Sub 10, still on Katarina 1.
7 Battle Academia, so not bad at all. But yeah, you need to find it. She's your carry, and she's the one you want to maintain. At least he didn't break 10, recovering a little economy here. So he's not rich, but he's in good form. I think he will have to keep rolling a little until he finds Katarina 2 and then try to think about his plan, if he wants to maintain tempo and only play for a 5th or a 4th, or stay, obviously, in the Katarina line.
All right, but still able to pick up a win against Panda here. Dr. O still on the loss streak as necessary, and Lucas still full winning with this all-out Casante.
Okay, perfect here for Lucas. Sanjo decides to roll again and finds it. This is perfect. I mean, not ideal, but it's the place he wants to be. BCLF is the one playing the GP, so just going for that duelist tempo in the mid game. Finds here the Viego GP, pretty good position here. Finds also the keepers, and now it makes more sense the reroll options. Also having an additional GP2 in the bench, so he will have a real high cap out very early into the game.
Yep, just needing 3 more gangplanks to close this out, and having that prismatic ticket means he's very likely to find it sooner rather than later. 4 duelist gets to be played as well because of the duelist +1. It really helps with his tempo as Lucas going to go up against Dr. O. Dr. O still just looking for this big cash out. Is at 217, going to be over 250 for this one.
That's so nice. Dr. O in a great position to have so many goals, and we know the snowball that this composition can make right here. So he's just trying to go for the win, being the win-out player with the Crystal Gambit is a perfect position. Araye with the Exalted Adventure still far away from having the mission. So now Araye, who has been the hero for ROC, in a very difficult, very dire position.
See this carousel. Any high-value units, of course, there's a Jarvan and a Casante available. And also, I am looking at this Swain as a potential pick for Babzera now that he's actually been able to find a couple of the other pieces he needed as far as items are concerned. That would just put him towards that 5 Crystal Gambit.
Yeah, good possibilities here. Just trying to find the best. Babsera finds the Swain.
No,
in the
Sanjop
last
denied
second,
it.
Sanjop getting it. Wow, that was very, very close.
Recognizing that they didn't want Babsera to be able to be playing that 5 Crystal Gambit for free, make him roll for it. So you've got the cash out from Dr. O.
Okay, trying to stabilize here, just making the best out of it. Still with the lose streak, so just trying to be strong enough to maintain a little more. There's the all-out, so second all-out right here. So contesting Lucas as a chance and finding the Radiant Edge of Night. So very big Cassante right now, and very 2 players with a great position right now.
Yeah, so once again, we're going to have all-out Cassante contested. Dr. O getting the Radiant Edge of Night out of that cash out and being able to play that towards the Cassante immediately. Trying to make use of as much as he can from the Golem, but really just trying to contest Lucas and maybe find some Cassantes out of the pool.
Okay, Araye doing good damage with the Kaisa, so Kaisa is scaling, but he will need to have a 3-star. Maybe enough. The Janna making good damage. Janna taking the win here, so Araye, he's the one who needs the HP, so there should be a moment where ROC either decides to sacrifice Dr. Araye or decides they want to preserve him and get HP for the Exactel Avenger to actually work. So that will be interesting in the moment they will have to make the decision. Lucas, on the other hand, is still maintaining the win streak and decides to go for Pandora's Bench just to be able to ensure he gets the Cassante 2-star.
Yeah, I think finding Bench here is great. Even though he is contested, now it's just increasing the likelihood massively that he's going to be able to find the units that he needs. And he's actually able to pick up Unstoppable for the front line, so finding immediately all the best stuff he can to try and maintain this win streak. Lucas, once again, holding a lot of HP for the team, or at least TL holding a lot of HP. As we look at the scoreboard right now, TL holding all 4 of the top 4 spots, with ROC struggling at the bottom of the table, so the HP advantage heavily in Liquid's favor.
Yeah, and BCLF is starting a 4-win streak right now, going up against Sanjop. He finds 2 additional Katarinas, so 5 for him. Good damage, Burti damage, and looking good right now. Everyone against the Cassante is not enough, so taking the win streak here from him. Katarina making a good win, and obviously with items here on the Yumi 7, Battle Academia just too strong right now, and Panda with the Zork line, holding for now Deluxe as the holder for the carry right now.
Yeah, we'll take a win over Dr. O, as we do see still trying to make this pivot over towards the Cassante. Looking for a Kali, I think that's the biggest hit that Dr. O can find. Trying to make use of the Supreme Cell. So you roll down to 30. We'll see how deep Dr. O actually wants to go.
Okay, decides to stay here at 34 now.
For the neutrals, of course.
Okay. And let's see what will be the angle. Yeah, so many gold. So already level 8. He has a chance to spend as many as he can. 40 gold right now. So much to be the one pressing the lobby right here. So let's see what's the decision. There it is. Huge roll down, finds the Akali. Gets additional gold from Expect the Unexpected, or even more. Oof, Akali 2.
Massive upgrade.
Hasn't made items, but has good possibilities here. Has the Edge of Night, an additional one, and also has AP items here to try. Okay, go for the Moralo. Losing aggro here for the Edge of Night, and now thinking about any AP items here as a possibility. Maybe, no, Void Staff, just making sure he is able to diminish or avoid the front line of the enemy.
Yep, and now going up against VCLF, the Gangplank 3 has come through alongside the Kabuko 3. Upgrades getting there with the Prismatic ticket, paying dividends, and it is just up to the Akali. Try and get it done, not going to be strong enough. So TL once again going to take some HP away from ROC. Every one of these wins so massive for TL, as they are kind of playing that fast, aggressive, keep your HP high, try and send the enemy team bot 3, and there are potential win outs available for ROC.
Also, he had like 7 Kaisas in the bench, just making sure that the Exactal Adventure from Araye will not be accomplished. So making it work. The fundamentals being played right now for Team Liquid, they lost the first game, remember, and this is elimination match. If Team Liquid loses here, they will be eliminated for EWC TFT, and ROC right now are not in a good position. So it looks like we will have a tie, of course. This is just the mid phase of the tournament right here, or at least of these cities. And now Lucas just trying to get any additional that he can, trying to use the Pandora's Band, and BCLF is just too strong right here. Making sure he already has the Kobuko, lacking only one item, and the Gunplane is just giving it so much gold and so much damage.
Yeah, and he's
Kai'Sa 3.
holding a Kai'Sa 3. Yeah, he's holding a Kai'Sa 3 on the board because it does let him go 4 Duelist with the Golem, 4 Mentor, 4 Duelist, but using the Kai'Sa, trying to deny Araye. Not able to, as we see Araye has the Kai'Sa 3 as well, but still very funny to see that they've able to just utilize that Prismatic Ticket to try and deny ROC as much as possible. And Araye, I think it's worked, because Araye is struggling in this game on a 5-loss streak, free-falling towards going 8th. Liquid still finding wins, win after win, and the HP gap is just massive at this point. Lucas going to take another hit at Panda.
Yeah, Panda very low right now. Araye, as you said, hitting the Kai'Sa very important, but he also needs to hit. Oh, well, he has the other one. Like,
Yeah, they got the Xayah, so the upgrades are there.
Okay. Managed to get there in the end, and now just trying to preserve HP as much as possible. They're holding hands on the bottom, Panda, Araye, and Dr. O. So someone needs to step out here, but we know this is a ramp of comp, so he should be pretty strong right now. The Kai'Sa should be giving good damage, lacking a little frontline.
Yeah, lacking it a lot, in fact, with just the Kabuko being upgraded for the front line. Did get the 4 Mentor in, so just utilizing that power, try and buff up these 2 carries of Xayah and Kai'Sa. And it is 2 fully itemized carries, so they will have a lot of damage to shred through, but with a big lacking of frontline, it really is just down to this Kabuko, and it is enough to take down Bapsera. But over the rest of the lobby, a lot of TL players are still able to pick up wins, especially VCLF and Lucas still dealing damage to ROC. Is Panda able to find a win over Ego?
Yeah, he's dangerous here for Bapsera. He's maintaining gold. He's trying to go level 9 and finds the Zaira just to get the 7 Crystal Gambit, getting any additional resources that the Crystal Gambit is giving to him. And this is a risk because he already knows he has good position there for Lucas, for Ego and the rest. BCLF looking strong also. But Bapsera is taking a huge risk right now, getting the Juggernaut in. A good position, but of course, in this moment of the game, Syndra 3 is not good enough, at least for maintaining the tempo, and we saw him completely being abolished in the last fight.
Yeah, it does feel like a lot of ROC's boards have surpassed Team Liquid's boards, and so they're able to find those wins there. But the problem is they'll have to fight each other, and they need to have impeccable team play to bring this life deficit back. They cannot take big losses into each other. They need to weaken a little bit when they face each other to try and have close fights, and they need to be strong as possible against the TL players.
Yeah, we see Panda right here only using the Zork emblem right here for the Golem, so this is a lot of diminishing returns for him. This is not enough value. The comp looks good, but only the Karma 2 for the Karma 1 for now. Pure Heart, Soul Cheaper doesn't look like it's enough, and he's going up against BCLF, who's very, very strong right now.
Yeah, VCLF is the TL player who's still strong enough to make sure that they can win and beat down on the ROC players. And VCLF is trying to do just that into Panda here. It is just the Gangplank staying alive. The backline has fallen already. Stretchy Arms Gangplank doing work once again. Panda going to take a huge hit from VCLF, and VCLF just being the juggernaut, the bruiser, the bully of TL, trying to put the beat down onto ROC and try and take the win for his team. And once again, all 4 TL members at the top of the HP leaderboard here.
Total dominance, we saw it in the previous game, at least in the initial rounds, and then ROC was able to turn it around. Will they do it again? Right now, looking a lot better than the last game for Team Liquid, having so many out possibilities. Bapsera also looking the weakest, if you will, but going for that level 9 with the Kappa comp. So all of Team Liquid with the win out possibilities, they're in a perfect spot to take game 2.
Yeah, I mean, look at this all-out Cassante for Wraith in with the upgraded Varus. Varus 2 on 8, just due to the Pandora's Bench. Just finding a couple 5 costs, rolling them to find the Varus. And maybe this can even stand up to VCLF. It's actually quite close. Might not be enough, but that is that all-out Cassante, which has done quite well into the Gangplank boards.
Yeah, so many HP, it doesn't matter. Using the buff of the 4 Wrath that we mentioned in the beginning, just finding the Varus, playing good tempo, and I mean, maybe it's not the full win outcome, but he's preserving HP. He's playing for the team. And now Dr. O is the one getting a huge win right now. 4-win streak for him. And he could be a win-out player to give a little breather for ROC, to give them a possibility to maybe have an option, a universe, a multiverse, where they can win this game.
I think they might just not even have enough HP for it to be possible at this point. When we look at the bottom 3 members of ROC, all on essentially 1 life going into stage 5. Songyup probably can survive 2, but outside of that, I mean, Araya and Panda just moments away from falling, and they're gonna have to fight each other at some point as well, if not just get taken out by VCLF or Lucas.
Okay, is it enough? Changing items here, making sure double Radiant on this Kai'Sa that has been ramping up since the beginning. So much AD right now. Is it enough for Araya to maintain, to keep himself alive and avoid the 8th here? 3 of the ROC players are in that difficult position. Araya, even though the low is in HP, he's pretty strong right now, changing a little the power-ups in the front line. Will the front line hold? He needs the fight to be abolished as soon as possible. He has a lot of damage. The sword is there, but there's no shield. K'Sante totally destroying it, accessing the back line, destroying everything, and Araya will fall.
Araya goes down. Panda facing off against this Katarina does end up finding the win there, so not going to fall, but it looks like that might have been his other teammate, or was that Ego that was playing that? Songyup goes down, Araya goes down. That's the 7-8 for ROC, and it would have to be Panda and Dr. O going 1-2, chipping through over 100 HP on the side of TL. Over 150 HP remaining for the side of TL.
So many control here. And as we said, yeah, maybe Dr. O has a chance, but he will have to face Panda in a moment. And there's not enough removers in the game to abolish that difference in HP that you just mentioned right now. So full dominance right now for Team Liquid. They should be able to tie the series. And remember, this is the last game of today, the last elimination match. One of these teams will go tomorrow to face either against Wolf or an additional team, and then face off to have the opportunity in the deciders match for tomorrow. So let's see who takes the win here. For now, ROC in totally difficult position, and let's see just if it's enough. There it is. It's the face-off. BCLF taking the win, and there it is.
Yeah,
ROC.
there is the 6-7-8 for ROC. TL dominance in this one. If the last game was one of the closest games we've seen throughout TFT at EWC here, this is maybe the most one-sided game we have seen, with TL absolutely dominating. Dr. O having a good shout to try and turn things around. But this is unfortunately more of what we saw with Wolves versus ROC yesterday. And we did see the glimmer of hope in Game 1. I'm curious if we'll get that same ROC going into Game 3.
Yeah, it will make sense. Let's see the next game in a while. And I want to recognize once again BCLF taking double bonus from this prismatic ticket, helping him get the GP3 and then avoid a Riot from getting the Exacta Lavente, at least in the early game. So that delay make a Riot go 8th. So BCLF obviously helping the team and also punishing the rest of the lobby, punishing the enemy team right now. So once again, recognition for Team Liquid, playing themselves, good communication in all carousels trying to grief. Both of the teams are playing great, Cass.
Just have a few final rounds as TL take their victory lap. And once again, Gangplank being the hero, VCLF able to find that early. And I think Prismatic Ticket has been an augment that often falls out of favor when it comes to just standard teamfight tactics, but I think is proved itself time and time again in 4v4, not only for you finding your own composition, but the ability to grief your opponents on what they want to roll for. VCLF, of course, holding a 3-star Kai'Sa alongside his board of finding his own Gangplank, stalling time, making Araya hit the cash out later than anticipated, and that sends Araya 8th, and a lot of this comes from this Prismatic Augment. And fortunately for those who are able to click that augment, there is a 2-cost that you want to be re-rolling so aggressively that doesn't need the combat augments to be a good composition, and so it becomes even better. But it was something we even saw last year. Even when you weren't playing the Syndra comp or just going for the reroll composition, it could allow you to grief so effectively.
Yeah, and then you have additional value. You can go for the Yasuo 3. He didn't find it, but he did find the Udyr. That is a good unit. Also having the Formentor full value bonus for all of them now going up against the Casante. So just making the fundamentals here. Dr. O trying to go there. Finally loses against BCLF. So we should be close here for the end of the second fight. BCLF, Babsera, Dr. O, Ego, the last standing right now.
Yeah, once again, getting to see that all-out Casante and just the question of how good can you make it. And we've even got Ego, 9 Star Guardian in, has the quality over quantity, and is seeing if he can get that prismatic Star Guardian going. I don't think he's spent nearly enough mana to make it happen, though.
Yeah, getting full value in over the Star Guardian and losing the value on the Jinx for getting additional crit chance. So yeah, perfectly played, everything in a great position here. Playing tempo, getting a good laugh here. So Team Liquid in good spirits, losing the first game, now winning in a dominant phase. This second game, last game will be a banger cast. Who will take it, ROC or Team Liquid?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to say, right? The first game was incredibly close. This domination from Liquid. I mean, they were dominant in the first game at the very start, and everything just kind of slipped through their fingers towards the end, not able to finish off the players on ROC, and this time that was not the case, right? ROC fell low fast, they fell hard, and they got knocked out. They didn't get to claw things back like in the first game, and with that being said, I mean, out of the 2 games, it looks like Team Liquid is kind of ahead of the curve against ROC, and the question is, can they just duplicate what they were able to do in that first game when it comes to playing those greedier comps, securing the late game, making sure that they had the win-out potential, whereas TL has shown exactly what style they want to play here.
Yeah.
They want to play fast, they want to play high tempo, and they want to deal a lot of damage when they are getting these hits.
Yeah, the double jeopardy, as we will, you need to win the GP battle, and then you need to win the X Factor battle. In this case, the X Factor was the anomaly, was the encounter that we have with this golem, and not all of them could get additional value. For Team Liquid was amazing. For the rest, they had to just get whatever they could have. And of course, the next one, once again, having the first augment being prismatic, additional variants included into the game, and Team Liquid for sure were the ones who were managed to use it the most.
Yeah, even interesting to see something like Babsera having the Crystal Gambit on the Golem, and then still opting into going Build-A-Bud. Lux out, does find the Syndra, which I think is maybe the best option to find off that Build-A-Bud, but from there, just still playing high tempo, not trying to commit to anything around that Crystal Guardian, or Crystal Gambit. And it just does so well for this team because instead of having that one loss streaker that was allowing the ROC players some reprieve to find a win here and there, it was just 4 Liquid on top of the HP, just dealing damage every single fight.
For sure. Now we're seeing BCLF, level 9 for him, trying to find an additional value. This is just the final board that he decides to go for. Mentor 4 Duelist here with the Kai'Sa. So this Kai'Sa being so strong, being ramped until still from the early game. And now just trying maybe the Yasuo, we don't know, decides to go for Strategist. Just gain additional value for the front line, getting form a little more durability, and of course damage to the ones in the back row.
And here, maybe the final fight of the game, Dr. O going up against Babsera. It is just going to be the Syndra trying to fire away. It looks like the all-out Casante has kind of outstayed its welcome as it does get taken down, and Dr. O will fall. Now it is just VCLF and Babsera remaining in this one, and we'll see if Babsera can hold out and take down the GP, or if we're going to get yet another stat pad for Gangplank and another first place.
I can see it. It's possible. He will need the Brown to disposition the Kobuko in a place and then access a little there on the Gangplank. Let's see what happens here. 7 Crystal Gambit in the end. He decides to do the pivot. So Babsera once again, even in the last game cast, Team Liquid lost, but Babsera did an amazing performance winning the game, and now once again with the winning position. This is the hero. This is the young gun from Team Liquid making it work right now for the Brazilian squad. Team Liquid has an amazing team right now assembled, and as we said before, they're looking not only for the win here in Teamfight Tactics, but also the win in the overall club championship.
Yeah, first in the last game for Babsera, potentially first once again. see the Kabuko getting focused down. The Gangplank stuck in the corner, might be able to get a shot onto the backline soon with these stretchy arms. As it is just Syndra trying to fire through. The Gangplank finally breaks it down.
It's not enough.
Looks like it will just be VCLF finding that win. Bapzera is just live for one more round. They're keeping us in it. They're keeping us hanging out here. Upe.
Taking a laugh here. Final carousel here for the game. So it's Bapzera versus VCLF. Full reroll for VCLF, 4 duelists, 4 mentor versus Bapzera now with the 7 Crystal Gambit. Full win-out boards for both of them. And now just getting a chance to take the win. There's additional value, gets only 4 cost, so nothing interesting for now, but items in the side that could make the difference here.
Yeah, the items on Zyra can definitely make a difference. Very close to being able to actually just go 10, play an additional unit as well. Bapzera, if he wins one more fight, that he can actually potentially win the rest because he just needs to find a little bit of space, but that is a Yasuo 3 for VCLF. Try and close it out.
Also with Titans, is it enough right now? VCLF won the previous fight and now going up against Bapzera. Also ramping up with the Twisted Fate on the other hand with the duelists. Kobuko falls and now they're focusing the Gunplan. This could be the chance. Huge ult, but Gunplan is still alive. Accessing the backline cast, and this should be a wrap-up. And it's a win for VCLF, taking out Bapzera. Huge win right now for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and still Bapzera going first, then second in these first 2 games. As you said, he's been a star for this team. The young gun coming through big for Team Liquid as VCLF able to hold on to that win streak the entire game, find the Gangplank very quickly, dealing punishing amounts of damage to ROC. Team Liquid really needs that win, needs to bounce back as it is 1-1. The winner here moves on for a chance in the decider match. The loser here is done.
Yeah, and I like the way they approach. In the last game, they maybe had 1 win-out player, and now they say, you know what? We'll have 3 win-out player as a possibility.
All right, and we'll send it over to the analyst desk so they can further break down this matchup before we get that final game of the series.
Liquid equalized the playing field, sending this to a 1-1, meaning there's only 1 match left before we know which other team is advancing and which one is going to be going home. This is exactly what Liquid needed to get back into the saddle, to start things off, to be able to really show us the Liquid that we were promised, Stuart.
Yeah, exactly that. I think the variety of this game happened really from the start with trainer golems. This is the first time that we've seen, at least on A stream, trainer golems as the encounter start for this. It opened up so much potential for this game, I feel like. Then we started with the Prismatic as well. Exalted Adventure. Everything was happening in this game, Counterfeit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many individual pieces of what went forward into this puzzle, because look at Trainer Golems and think, it's going to be a chaotic game, but if anything, it felt like it was actually more measured and more controlled than what we saw before. I mean, starting with the Exalted Adventure you mentioned, it was reacted to extremely well by Team Liquid to shut it down real hard.
Yeah, I think the Prismatic ticket was really, really smart by VCLF. Taking a Prismatic ticket when uncontested Gangplank as well. We have to remember Cassante was more contested than Gangplank. we never see that in Teamfight Tactics in this set. So to see a Cassante so early on, to see that being contested, GP being uncontested as well, and picking up the Kabukos as well on that Prismatic ticket meant that Araya had to go for the Xayah and the Kai'Sa instead for that Exalted Adventure and went dead last. Wasn't able to get a big enough cash out.
I do want to point out as well, as we see the Cassante come on screen there, the most ludicrous thing to find the all-out Cassante at 2-2 in that game. Even if it hadn't been, a Trainer Golem game, that would have been the most outrageous thing going on.
Yeah, I think as well for when we're looking at ROC Esports here specifically, this is obviously not the result that you wanted, but they have now been tested. I think that first game, it was a lot more of them being in the lead, them being able to really dictate the pace of how everything's going to go. But this time, Liquid is throwing a spanning in the work. They are really testing you and your capabilities of adaptation and being able to work together as a team. And unfortunately, they weren't able to heed that call. But now, again, we still have 1 match, right? So there is hope for both of these rosters.
I think Cass said it pretty perfect on the cast where he was saying, him and Hooper were saying that Team Liquid were in the lead as well in game number 1 as well. They were in control in game number 1. You feel like Team Liquid are the ones that are supposed to be on top in this series as well. I think they just outplayed ROC completely in this game. I think with the Exalted Adventure deny, the build above Bud for Syndra as well, we haven't talked about, with 7 Crystal Gambit to end things off as well. I think for ROC it's just a very unfortunate game with the denial of Team Liquid, but it's well played by Team Liquid at the same time.
It was kind of crazy to see the Team Liquid win the top 4, at the stage 3, and I started to get worried because of what we saw before.
We've seen it all before.
We've seen it all before. Well right now, but you're right. Bab0 was absolutely amazing in that game. I love seeing the sort of the win streak crystal coming in. The Heart of Gold as well.
Yes.
With the Build-A-Bud was such a great combination to make sure that he stayed in control the whole game long.
Yeah, and Liquid here, this is what we wanted to see. This is what they needed. This is the confidence boost that they're looking to carry into that next match. So it's a great start because I felt like when we're looking at Liquid, yesterday wasn't their day. We weren't able to see what they're able to do. Today, the first match, again, they didn't really showcase us the Liquid that we were promised, but this feels like a little bit of a resurgence. They're coming back into it. They're showing us what they're capable of. And as you touched upon, they just completely outplayed ROC, and that is the expectation that we had coming into this, and they're living up to it.
I mean, exactly that. They were one of the teams that we were really looking out for as casters. This Brazilian team that have come in, that have plenty of international experience as well. They've played against some of the best as well in teamfight tactics, and I feel like this game really proved their level of TFT. But again, they have to go back again. They have to make sure that they stay focused as well, and they do the same as what they did in game number 2. They understand the situation of how ROC can win out the game and deny them completely. They did it perfect in this game with the Exalted Adventure, with the Crystal Gambit as well, being able to get that win streak, but they have to do it again to make sure they don't get eliminated this time around.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid really cleaned up their play. Of course, this being the last series of the day, they've been waiting around to play this for a while, so I can sort of forgive a little bit of rust coming into game 1, but it does, like we've seen from another series, we're seeing particularly Team Liquid seeming to get stronger game by game. So I think it's going to be a really rough run in the final game to try and take them down.
Yeah, that's also that momentum that they now have going into this, the confidence, and as you touched upon, the rust as well. Yesterday was the first game on stage. Today's the first game on this main stage with the walkouts. Everything is a little bit different. So now that both of these teams are settled in, this final match is really going to dictate which team has been made the biggest improvement and also which one is the most comfortable in the current situation.
I think Team Liquid are going to come in more comfortable for sure. I think they're going to be pretty comfortable after game number 1. I think they were a little bit unfortunate in game number 1. Game number 2 was just a stomp in my opinion. I think that it was just completely one-sided in game number 2. They're going to have the confidence now coming into game number 3. ROC though, they need to make sure they keep their level-headed as well. They make sure that they don't lose their heads as well, because one more game, that's it. One more game of teamfight tactics determines who goes out and who stays on in EWC.
I mean, as much as we've seen a lot of good stuff from Team Liquid, I'm starting to maybe believe in ROC. They surprised us so much in game 1. If we get back to just a normal game of TFT, it doesn't seem impossible they could do it again.
Ooh, so your prediction still stands true. Yours, you can no longer change it, and you went for it.
I'm still riding the Liquid train.
So,
I'm still riding it.
Everyone's still on that Liquid train, and we'll see whether or not that is the right one and whether it will leave the station heading towards tomorrow or towards their own homes. Either way, Liquid and ROC are on the chopping block with only one game left coming up after the break.
This is Peter. He plays Tekken 8 on PlayStation tournaments. Peter wins hundreds of avatars easily. But how? On his PS5, Peter launched Tekken 8, found PlayStation tournaments, and registered. It's that easy. New tournaments daily. Win avatars, prizes, and more. Compete, win, and claim your prizes today on PlayStation tournaments.
PlayStation. Now, I am lucky enough to be standing right now at the player lounge here at the Esports World Cup, and I'm not alone. I've come to the table tennis table to play with Wojtek of Team EVOS here for TFT. Wojtek, welcome to Riyadh. How are you feeling?
Hello, hello. Yeah, I'm great. How about you?
I'm good. How's your table tennis? You good?
I will try.
Let's have a go while we have a bit of a chat. This is multitasking at its best. Here we go. So, Wojtek, tell me about your team. You've been playing since... Oh, we're off to a bad start. Where's that ball gone? You got another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, we go again. So tell me about your team, because you've been playing since set one. Haven't really had that much success at international level, but you're feeling really confident.
Yeah, I mean, our team is like not the most accomplished, but I think we have great team spirit, and throughout all of the qualifications, we are mostly like having fun and doing our best, and it worked. We are here, so why not continue?
So you are personally from Poland?
Yeah, our whole team is Polish.
Oh, very cool. So you'd be putting Poland on the map at the Esports World Cup if you were to do well here. What do you think your chances are?
Yeah, I believe, and our whole team, I think, believes we can go all the way. We believe in ourselves, so yeah, we are going to the finals.
I'll tell you what, right? You're good at this. So what we'll do is we're going to have a quick break, because I know you need to go play. Let's go get a coffee and talk some more, shall we? Thank you. Enjoy.
All right, all right. It's like I don't have many interviews.
Welcome back to TFT at the Esports World Cup. I'm Casanova, joined by Hupe-san, and we are at the SNB Esports Arena for the final match between Team Liquid and ROC Esports. They've tied the series up 1-1. The loser here will go home. The winner will get another chance in the decider match. Hupe-san, Team Liquid came out strong in that second game, but ROC is no slouch. We have to see how will they bounce back in this third and final game.
There has been a trend in both games where Team Liquid starts very, very strong. The difference was second game, several players with a possibility of win-out possibilities and win-up options. Will this be maintained, or will ROC turn the paper out and try to maybe pressure a little more into the early game? Double component anvils here for the Twisted Fate cast. This means you can force almost anything you want. Normally you need both scenarios open, you need the items and you need the units. Now only if you find the units, now you can force any comp. So GP will be more prevalent for sure. We will see a double. Last time only Team Liquid played it.
Yeah, so we'll see who is able to find the first gangplanks, and can they actually just slam those anvils right away. Babzera actually grabs a couple of 3 costs and a Smolder, not one we've talked about a lot, but it's actually one of the harder 3 costs to grief, because you actually have to get Smolder in, I believe, get an experience on it for your Smolders to actually count as part of the pool. So with that being said, it's maybe an option. However, we haven't seen anybody bust that out yet.
Yeah, we saw it succeed and we saw it totally bad in the term here on the EWC. And the problem is it's too expensive. You need 3 costs. You need to find a 3-star. Smolder 2-star is not a new unit. So very difficult to accomplish. Sell set immediately right now for Babzera. Doesn't want to go there. They want to go for something maybe more confirmed right now. Sanjob right now having some good possibilities. Find the Kaisa early and finds 2 Kaisa. So this could be an option for him, and of course trying to ramp up the early game and have a good possibility. Kaisa hasn't won games, but obviously there's a good chance for Supreme Cell to succeed.
Yeah, Kaisa reroll is more of a just strong comp that you can play, that you can look for top 4. It's not going to be one of the top comps, it's not one of the best, but it is okay. It is a reasonable reroll to go for, as Dr. O also having a Katarina as an option here. That is another 2-cost reroll, so the team could synergize on 2-cost rerolls. If they find Gangplank and go 3 2-cost rerolls, that is still possible to go those 3 different compositions and really just try and help each other by taking other 2 costs out of the pool. But we are going to get Prismatics, so the variance is not quite done for us, Upe, in this series. We'll see what they can go for. We've seen at what cost be pretty reasonable. You don't get to pick the augments, but that quick level up is great. Supreme Cell Crown, not going to be for Dr. O, so it might just be expected unexpectedness. Look for maybe some of those pickups. 9 lives instead. This has been a very strong augment in 4v4, and it is going to be the click for Dr. O. You get carousel priority, and you get, well, 9 lives, but you also get a lot of resources when you have to expend each of those lives.
Yeah, makes sense right here. So probably going for this Katarina as an option, and that will be the angle here for Dr. O. Kai'Sa 2 right now for Ego, so not giving the chance for Sanjop to play this Kai'Sa alone, and now being immediately contested.
Yeah, going for the contest. Looks like he had his own pair of Kai'Sas, so goes for that Supreme Cell emblem because it also gives a Kai'Sa. Just locking in, saying, hey, you know what? I'll get a 2-star Kai'Sa, I'll start slamming some items, and we'll go from here. Start scaling the Kai'Sa as well, because she as a unit does stack AD when she does get kills with her ultimate. So might as well go for that. And we got a Talisman of Ascension as the first hit for the Living Forge. It's not one that you want to see, but we did see that Mundo earlier from Wet Jungler going alongside a Radiant Anima Visage, and there is an Anima Visage there alongside it, so maybe we'll get a Mundo once again.
Also with the Nafiri, so already in that Juggernaut angle, could be a repeat that you just mentioned that for the Mundo. We saw the Mundo didn't win the game, but pressured the lobby in the mid game a lot.
We've got Protagonist, Perfect Form Zac. The last time we saw this, it went first, and I think the time before that we saw it, it went first. This has been very successful so far when it is found, and VCLF is going to be able to pick that up for Team Liquid as another potential win-out angle while we jump on board with Lucas, and he's got a 2-star Gangplank. So TL, once again, having a lot of very good spots to start things off.
Wow, once again with this possibility of not just getting good tempo in the early game. These are all win-out spots. Maybe the Kai'Sa could be a top 3. But once again, Team Liquid proposing a great early game right now. Build a bot on the orange hands for Sanjop and taking the loss. This is not what you want to see.
Yeah, and we'll have to look at across the board here with the early wins. The early wins are going towards TL, as we have 3 players from ROC on losing the first 2 rounds, right? Still not the full stage, right? Songyup has taken 2 losses, but his Sniper's Gangplank, which is very strong, and I think that this is a way that we can see Songyup look for the win, contesting into the Gangplank line.
Yeah, correction here. This is the artifact that will be for additional value here, and we'll get more on the front end right now here for Sanjop. And on the other hand, Dr. O with the 9 life finds the Katarina, still Katarina 1, but with some itemizations here, just trying to hold up a little the rest of the lobby. And Sanjop will be the one contesting the GP, but I mean, it's just very behind in tempo right now. But of course, getting some additional chance here to just try to punish a little the lobby and have a chance to contest in the late game.
Yep, another life down for Dr. O, down to 6 out of the 9 lives to start with, but that will mean that more of that treasure that comes through, you kind of become a piñata for those 9 lives, and you get to have some very exciting rewards coming out of you when you do take a loss. So we'll see if Dr. O can start to turn things around very quickly.
Okay, we're seeing also a Rayo with the Crystal Gambit trying to get be a little more greedy. I mean, that's the difference. Team Liquid are playing strong the early game and then being greedy on the late game. Araye has been the hero for ROC Gaming, so now the chance for him to spend resources in the early game, try to accomplish, went for the Destiny, for the Prismatic Destiny, and finds the Pandora's items, a prismatic one, so he will get a Radiant item that he can get almost anyone that he wishes to. So he should be the win-out player. Let's see what's the path that he decides to take.
Oh, Panda with the Talisman. It's always so funny in the early game too, right? Because it actually does proc pretty consistently in Stage 2. So even though this artifact is, I think, one of the lowest win rates of all the artifacts, it's bottom 4 when it comes to that. there are some creative ways that you can use it. We saw it with Wet Jungler with the Mundo, but you have to find a unit that is essentially going to be invincible to make it work. And, well, when it comes to stage 2, I do think an upgraded Fury with these items is nearly unkillable.
Also getting the fusion then, so getting eating the Jace, if you will, getting that additional HP and damage. So very good for him. He will try to maintain this tempo, and for Pandy it's important, as you say, Talisman very good in the early game, and then very good when you have the Mundo 3-star. But then in the middle ground, you actually start losing a lot of value for the comp. So let's see if he managed to outmaneuver them for now, making it work with a good win streak.
All right, we've got the double down from Araye, so we're going to have to keep our eyes on that to see if TL can actually grief it on 2-6, or if Araye is going to run into one of his teammates. He did actually just upgrade some units right after double down. We saw the tragedy that happened earlier on from Falcons.
Okay, making the win here. Once again, Dr. O with the Katarina, with a good chance here to just trying to maintain a little more tempo. Finds the pair and needs to find early this Katarina too to try to stabilize. Goes up against Araye. So this should be a win for him, and Araye will maintain the lose streak and keep playing this Crystal Gambit. For now, 72 stacks, so not bad at all.
Yeah, I think this is pretty nice. Araye does need this loss with the double down, and I think Dr. O has gotten kind of enough rewards out of the 9 lives so far that maybe you actually want to hold on to, 5 lives for the rest of the game. Don't need to lose 5 in stage 2. And so we'll try and look to turn around the win streak. Now, having 50 gold going in 2 neutrals, I think very good for Dr. O.
Yeah, Ego took a loss, but Bapsera maintained the win streak here. BCLF, right now with the protagonist, as you mentioned, with the perfect exact, already with 3 items, at least holding for now. Then he will look for the ideal items for him, but for now, full crit and being a full menace. The balloon floating throughout the sky, just being a total menace for the rest of the enemies.
Oh, I mean, it's perfect as well, right? This is on 2-7, you get the 3-star. From there, VCLF now is going to still get a Zac every single turn, try and get that 4-star Zac online, which can just easily threaten for first.
Yeah, we saw it in previous when he went first, it was the 4-star. But even 3-star was already top 3, top 2. This is just as one of the most strong hero augments that we have right now, or at least a protagonist possibility that you can get in randomness. So very good decision here, and the lock on the side right now for BCLF and for Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's also a not done yet Zac, so it's one of the stronger power-ups that you can get. However, the condition is going to be tough to satisfy because he just keeps winning. Okay. it stays alive the entire time.
Okay, let's see a little more. So we have a Sanjop here with the GP, holding up items still, finding double Udyr. So he decides to play Udyr for now, just for the duelist, and then made the change for the Kobuko to maintain 1 mentor. So far, so important for this comp to get the GP early, rolling right now and in the next level on 3-2, and then maybe trying to high roll the rise that will enable you to play for mentor also as a good chance. Ego taking a good win here and also stacking those that AD damage that you mentioned in the start cast, so important for the Kai'Sa, especially ramping up into the late game.
All right, we do see the Ascension come through for the Nefiri, but finally a loss for Panda. Bapzera able to hold on to the win streak all throughout stage 2 and holding it into 3-2. Once again, TL dominating the top of the table when it comes to the win streaks.
Yeah, and Bapzera once again is the one proposing good tempo, playing best board possible right now with an AP angle there, playing around the Syndra. And Dr. O rolling here, also trying to find the Katarina, doesn't find it. And Sanjot rolls a little, and did he find also the gun plan? A little additional. Okay, Dr. O is committed, finds the Katarina, very important, and now he should be able to win some rounds.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little worrisome, though, with so many of the 9 lives gone already, having to win out when we know the power of some of these comps. I mean, you have to beat perfect form Zac a couple of times throughout this game. If you just start losing to perfect form Zac every time it hits you on your rotation, your 9 lives are going to dwindle very, very quickly.
Yeah, now in 4, just as a chance here, Sanjop decides to roll only onto 30. Maybe he didn't roll that much, but he didn't hit even a pair. That's why he stopped. Normally, you don't have value in rolling unless you have pairs and good possibility to hit. So he will need maybe 1 natural GP and then try to roll. But for now, this doesn't look like it's good enough. Going up against Bapzera, we see now why he's so strong. 3 items on the rail. and the damage right now for the Syndra bot is stacking the Ginso right now for Gangplank, but no, he falls down, and Babsera maintains the win streak and maintains the pressure here for Team Liquid against ROC.
Yeah, I mean, once again, just look at the HP, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, that's Liquid. Then Lucas at 5th, Panda just kind of in the middle there. And of course, this is a little skewed because Dr. O is playing 9 lives.
Yeah.
So you can't purely add up just the HP this time around, but Lucas is going to find Gangplank 3 to the single copy of Songyup, who is going up against him. So that is a very bad omen for the side of ROC, as Lucas is already set up to win the game. And I think if you're Dr. O, you've taken 9 lives, and you've got perfect form Zach 3 running around and a Gangplank 3 running around. I would be scared of going down in stage 4 if I'm Dr. O, and he's going to run into the Gangplank. Right away, he rotates into Lucas after he hits.
Wow, there it is. Gangplank 3 once again here for Lucas, expecting the unexpected. So the Gangplank is the one who accomplished this cast. This is just amazing destiny going up against but the Katarina doing good damage here.
Got there.
And finally taking the end. And once again, Gangplank wants to try to access the backline. Katarina loses the aggro and takes a huge win here.
Yeah, I mean, that's massive for Dr. O. You rotate into the Gangplank 3, I think you might expect that you might be losing one of those 9 lives, and being able to defend it is so important. We saw the Mundo finally being found so that it does have the Talisman of Ascension, taking a page out of what Jungler's book.
Okay, Panda, we're seeing playing around the Jhin so far, only with 1 item, having the Mundo. So Panda will try to go for that reroll. Jhin hasn't been a win-out composition, but for sure would get some points here for ROC Gaming. So Panda, let's see if it's good enough for him. Seeing a little more about the game, we saw the Katarina for Dr. O. Ego with the Kaisa also very strong. Findings the Mundo too, so he will be contesting the Mundo and making sure Panda is not out of line with the Jhin also.
As we jump over to the cash out, Araye does succeed in the double down. Gets a lot of gold this time around.
Wow. Huge influx here. Araye will be the one contesting the AP line for Babsera. We'll check for Babsera later to check if he's going for the Sork or the Prodigy with Battle Academia. But for now, pretty strong. Finds the Ahri. Had a possibility here to go for Lux, but normally Lux hits a little more in area. So Ahri a little better here for item holder. And of course, the tank will be the Swain. And going up against the Talisman, Mundo right now. Still Mundo 2. And as we know, he's contested, so it will be very hard to hit this Mundo 3-star.
Yeah, I like that Araye actually took branching out as the silver augment at the end here, trying to potentially high roll into Crystal Gambit +1, because recognizing that he has to be the win-out player for the team, does not get rewarded, ends up finding a Wraith Emblem, is going to take another big hit, but it has a lot of gold to start making this pivot to whatever comp he wants to play. Pair of Ashes on the bench as well.
Okay, we're seeing Panda here. The second power-up right here should go to the Jhin and try to have a good chance here. Okay, piercing could be an option for now.
Artistic KO was there.
Okay. Artistic Chaos, we saw it also as a good chance. And Panda looking strong, looking very... also Ego right now, being in the lead. And it's up for everyone. Rolling for days, already expanded cast. So no additional resources here for the augment.
You see Babsera finally taking a couple losses and losing some sizable amount of HP in those. Was using the Rising Chaos Syndra to win early on, but finally getting a little bit outscaled. Going up against Ego, who once again does have that Mundo 2 alongside the Kaisa upgrade. Does have 5 copies of Mundo actually, so going to be doing a good job of slowing down Panda.
Yeah, also holding the Katarinas, very important. And having that possibility to preserve or don't let the rest of the enemy go for that win condition. So Babsera starts to fall up. Good early game, but for now just maintaining economy and trying to go for that possibility. He's holding the Swain, so if we see the board, he's going for the Prodigy line, but actually with a good possibility to just ramp up into the swords.
Dr. O taking some friendly fire. Gonna lose one of his 9 lives to Panda, and I think that's really bad. I mean, Dr. O now gonna be down to 3, and I'm not sure there was something that could have been done there to prevent it because you can't really start using your removers yet. But the problem is you have a teammate that's on 9 lives. So it is going to be a big cash out of gold for Dr. O to maybe dig for that Katarina. But looks like he's been pumping experience a little bit. And yeah, he is just going to go to level 7.
Yeah, and Riyadh decides to roll here. Doesn't find one, finds only one Karma, doesn't find a win, but finds at least the Ari 2-star that should be able to stabilize him right now. And of course, the influx of gold is enough to recover the economy.
Yeah, we'll see everybody getting that prismatic orb. We're gonna get an item on the bench. Roll down once again for Araye. Finds Cassante 2 to help try and stabilize the front line a little bit.
Additional Ari once again sold it and gets it again.
Yeah, just remaking it, trying to move everything over to the Karma. Tried to find a little bit more gold, actually find a Karma 2, but it's just going to be Sork's double Radiant item onto the Karma, though.
Good Karma, lacking obviously the 2-star to get that additional damage as try to pump up the passive of Sorks. Hitting the Garen, so it should be good to kill the Garen and then start pumping up the rest. But let's see if it's just enough. Katarina access to the backline, takes out the Ari, and now stays on the Swain. Karma doing good damage.
All right, really does not want to win this. Dr. O is going to lose again, down to 2 of the 9 lives here on stage 4.
Wow.
And there are still strong boards out there. This is not what you want to see. I mean, we saw tweets about it from Vitality, making fun of one of their teammates for falling on stage 3 with 9 lives. It's not nearly as bad as that, but that would still be an 8th if we go down here in stage 4. And 9 lives is one of those augments that can really look to be a win-out potential for your team. Dr. O really needs to find a way to stabilize.
Yeah, we saw Panda also holding for Ego, holding full Kaisas, and Ego is very far away from hitting. So Lucas is the only one in the best position here, already having the GP3. The rest of the game, even though this GP3 exists, it's very difficult to find the Mundo that is contested, very difficult to find the Katarina that is being held by Team Liquid, and very difficult also for Ego to find the Kaisa that is being held by all of ROC players.
Does seem at the end of the day, TL getting the better of the trades, especially with the early Gangplank 3. Finding all the mentors already and looking to 3-star them as well. Panda at the top of the tables, being able to play around this Talisman Mundo. We saw how good it was from the side of Wet Jungler, and this time around, actually, Panda does find the backline. That was what was missing when Jungler played this. Panda actually 3-starring the Jhin already, and potentially could just use it as a 2-star Mundo for a very long time because it still kind of survives for such a long time in these fights, and you get that Talisman upgrade. So Panda, just the remaining hope for the team, but I'm not sure that Talisman Mundo is a win-out comp. It is a top 2, top 3 composition,
yeah.
But finding the first, especially because we know there's perfect form Zac that's going to hit 4-star in this lobby.
Yeah, he has a little ramping up with the Jhin. He will need to find then a 3-star, and also having the buy with a suspicious trench coat, also the Silvermare can be a possibility, but is it enough damage?
And Dr. O on final life here, out of these 9 lives. Once again, I believe losing to a teammate, and we'll see pushing to 8, so not even looking for the Katarina 3, knowing that it is 2 held, 2 contested.
Wow.
Trying to get more Battle Academia in, trying to convert maybe over towards this Akali. Maybe that is an opportunity to turn things around. 7 Battle Academia, double Radiant on the Katarina. Keepers. There's a lot of power, but now you run into the perfect form Zac, and have you done enough to actually beat it?
Yeah, got reinforcement, just trying to find the Leona, actually finds it, or has an initial frontline, and now depending on the Akali that you mentioned, she's the one that should be doing the damage, and he depends on the access to the backline. Trying to hit them, Malzahar is not enough, but now is enough to clean. So this is exactly what he has to do. The problem is that 3 ROC players are in the bottom cast, so even though Dr. O managed to avoid the loss here, they're all close to being eliminated.
Yeah, and at this point, we actually can say that that life total is pretty accurate because he has 1 life left. So whether it's 1 9 life or 1 HP, it doesn't matter. It is 1 life for Dr. O, and as you mentioned, 2 other teammates at the bottom there, and it is all up to Panda at the top of the tables, but they need the rest of the team to find stability, and often that would be through your 9 lives player. However, I'm not seeing it with this Katarina Akali composition. I'm seeing at best a 6th out of this comp, and I am very worried for ROC.
Yeah, no win out spot. Ego finding the Mundo 3. So once again, not letting Panda get the Mundo. So perfect play right now. Holding also the Kaisas here for ROC. Avoiding Ego from doing the ramp up. So everyone is holding. Everyone is tidying up the rest of the enemies to avoid them from the winning spot. But Team Liquid already has some win out spot. Already having the Kaisa 3 here. Already having the GP3. This is a dominant position for Team Liquid.
Yeah, look at this from Ego. 2 Supreme Cell emblems going alongside Mundo 3, Kaisa 3. Been stacking the Kaisa all game. Actually looking like a pretty strong Kaisa spot, compelling Kaisa spot to make a top 2, top 3 as well. So there's just so much power on the side of Liquid. Gangplank 3, the Kaisa 3. We've got the perfect form Zac that's going to be a Zac 4. And Bobzera is just the one sacrificial lamb for TL.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucas trying to hold up. The GP falls down. So it's a good win here for Dr. O, getting a huge chunk of HP here for Lucas. Any round that Dr. O stays alive and takes a chunk, he's helping the team so much. And now Panda making it work with the Super Mundo, taking a chunk of his teammate Sanjob. Once again, Dr. O, 1 life, and now Bobzera, as you said, falls down, and Lucas also now in a dangerous position.
There we go, and this is what was needed for ROC, right? A couple of players on ROC starting win streaks. Araye and Dr. O both starting to win, and that is so important. They were so low on HP, and now it's up to VCLF and Ego to start putting some beatdown on the rest of the ROC players. They had the early tempo, but actually, the HP gap has closed way quicker in this game than we saw previously, and it's looking more like a repeat of Game 1 than Game 2.
Yeah, exactly. The rundown here, the ramping up, the scaling right now for ROC game is making it work. Even though Katarina is only 2-star, is making it work right now, accessing the backline and not being able to abolish. Battle Academia, Akali giving so much additional ramping up and damage amp, and it's making the difference right now, cleaning the rest of the units right now. So Dr. O, even though he only has 1 life, he will stay alive here, Cass.
Yeah, and Songyup now becoming kind of the sacrifice for ROC, but that's fine. He had more HP to actually spend and just trying to stabilize around that Yone, but it is just a Yone 1 playing a little bit more flex. Bobzera also more of a flexible board, was going for Sorcerers, hasn't quite hit, and instead is kind of playing around this Sorcerer Twisted Fate, seeing if he can make it work, but just a few pairs, really actually just the pair of Karmas in the front line, not the point that it needs to be, but Bobzera has to try and hold on and outlive Songyup, or has to hope that someone can take that last life off of Dr. O.
No Karma 2, no Jarvan 2. Here's the Karma on place here for Araye. Also hasn't found the Jarvan. Both of them using Swain as a tank. He's an excellent tank, at least until you find the Jarvan 2 and get make sure that he's able at least to cast twice. So is it enough right now? Araye in a win streak, holding up the source and taking the damage or taking the units here from Bobzera. Bobzera needs to hold on, and Dr. O is just very strong. The Akali making the difference, and now it will be the play. Sanjob 17 HP, so 2 lives also for him. He will not be eliminated, so now in danger zone actually is Bobzera and Dr. O only.
Yeah, Bobzera finally finds Karma 2, looking to reroll and find something good with the fruit, but not finding any of the best in slot. Looking for Efficient would be the most ideal. Does find Mage or Shadow Clone. Those are both viable options. Going up against Araye, which is basically just Bobzera's comp, but better.
Yep.
And the Jarvan cast just gets stopped and taken down. It looks like Bobzera will be falling, not able to kill enough units. So that's going to be the 8th, as Panda looks like will not take down Dr. O. The Mundo is going to finally pop, but the entire board is still there. So in overtime, should be able to take the Mundo down.
Mundo against the world.
Songyup looks like he actually went down from 17, so it would have been a massive loss. However, I have to assume that Bobzera's loss was worse, and that's going to be a 7th Songyup, 8th Bobzera. And in fact, that is what we will see.
Yeah, there it is, and so important, this possibility, because Bobzera going 8th and Sanjob means that the top 1 is even is easier to accomplish the win condition here when your enemy goes 8th. So now he's open up, trying to find the Katarina. He's just 2 away. He's not being contested, and not 1 more. So Dr. O with a great chance here with the 9 life and finding this Katarina to even take the game. There
Oh,
it
he
is.
hit.
Wow, late Katarina cast, and now in a great position right now. We see it on his face. He's happy and he's focused.
I mean, this is dangerous. 1 life is infinite lives if you don't actually lose any fights. And Dr. O just needed the last one of his 9 lives to find the Katarina 3 on 8. And now this comp looks like it is something that can win. And I think it comes down to VCLF and the Zach 4, but can Katarina actually beat that?
Yeah, it will be tough. It will be very close for sure. Ego ramping up here. The damage also looking very strong. And taking possibly the win here against, no. It ended up, it's only the Mundo now. So they're just ramping up, the Jin taking out the Mundo. And now it just access to the backline, and Elo loses the Kaisa. And now in a difficult position here. Dr. O taking the win streak. Lucas taking the loss now with 11 HP. And BCLF is the one falling off. Team Liquid in a very difficult position.
Look at Lucas, 1 off Kabuko, 1 off of the Yasuo. He found the Gangplank so early, but he's not been able to find the supporting cast of characters for this composition. VCLF is just a few rounds away from the Zach 4, but he might not get there.
Yeah. Being late now, only 1, maybe 2 life here. He needs 3 rounds to accomplish the Zach 4. That for sure can be a win condition. We already know that the perfected Zach is capable of doing it. And now going up against the Jin 3.
Yeah, I was looking at the start of this game that TL was going to run away with it with the high HP, but it might be a repeat of game 1. The comeback from ROC. The 9 lives, the 9th one for Dr. O, making all the difference.
And on the
Perfect
left,
form Zach, though, is going to pick up the win against Panda. VCLF needs 2 more rounds after this to get the Zach 4 to turn the corner on this game as Lucas goes down. Dr. O finding another win. Ego does pick up a win, though. TL, just Ego and VCLF remain.
Turning the side right now. ROC is in the tempo, having great tempo buys right now in a dominant position. Is it enough for the rest? Will he have the additional chance to go? Ego only with the Kaisa 3. VCLF still with the opportunity with 2 more rounds of finding the Zach 4-star. And Dr. O just looking as the best right now in the lobby with the Battle Academia Akali and the 3-star with Radiant items Katarina.
And reasonably, I mean, they needed Lucas to be the win out. The Gangplank 3 just never finding the mentors to tie it all up. And because of that now, Araye was on that big win streak with the Sorks, double Radiant item on the Karma, and Dr. O hitting everything. Can Ego and VCLF hold on? VCLF is on the last light, the last legs. Needs 2 more Zacs to convert. The 4-star can win, but can you get there? Can Ego sack for VCLF? It looks like it's a ghost of Ego and the items were not off, so does he just win naturally?
Wow.
Or are TL going to send themselves out of the tournament and send themselves home? We see that Zach has made it to the back line, so that looks like 1 more round that VCLF will escape, and he needs 1 more after this to close it down.
Ego knows, he's just like, okay, Gucci, we're fine, we have 1 more life left. And now on the rest, this is an HP chunk on the other side for ROC Gaming. So friendly fire right now on this round cast. And is it enough right now? BCLF, I think he lacks 1 more round, so it's not this one. It's 1 more.
Yeah, he needs 1.
Okay, 1 more.
Yeah, he needs 1 more. 1 Zach.
There's a roll just in case.
Negative 4 Zacs in the pool. he can't hit Zach. We know
just in case. I don't know.
We know this. He cannot hit Zach. He has to get it from the automatic. He cannot run into Dr. O. He won't win until he gets the 4-star.
He needs Panda. Araye is also pretty strong. So
Panda or Ego, because it was the ghost of Ego before.
Yeah, for sure. Will Ego stack? That's also the possibility here. Only 20 HP.
It's Araye. Is this winnable, or do you lose to the double Radiant Karma? It's not the fight you necessarily wanted. You really wanted Panda. There's the cast. Zach staying alive for now, but not for long. Goes down. So will the hopes and dreams of Team Liquid, with VCLF falling. Unless we see someone down from ROC, that's gonna be it. As VCLF falls.
This is the other fight. Dr. O is
and
good.
ROC will
celebrating
over Team Liquid.
So close. Dominance from Team Liquid on game 1, at least in the early game, but taking the win. ROC in a great way. Araye being the hero for the team's 2nd game, totally dominance from Team Liquid, and now in a very close game, taking the win right now for ROC. They deserve it, and now we have an upset on Team Liquid that leaves at least the club championship open for the rest of the team. Still the #1 team here in EWC in points, but now opening up the space for the rest.
ROC play style being a little more reminiscent of the Flash Wolves. We saw this high-risk, high-reward style payoff for the Flash Wolves earlier today, and now it does for ROC. They're happy to take the early loss streaks, play around this 9 lives. 1 life is infinite lives for Dr. O, and it looks like he'll be able to win out the entirety of this game, but already has done enough. Araye also trying to push those late levels, getting to level 9, playing around the Sorks, the Radiant items. Everything coming together for ROC.
Yeah, for Dr. O, amazing the gameplay that he managed to accomplish. Very difficult to navigate. Being griefed so much against this Katarina, decides to go to level 8, maintaining tempo, and then finding the late Katarina. Amazing playing for him, amazing recognition that he was able to accomplish. And as you say, high risk, high reward. This is not the game plan that you want to have, but this is the out. And you go for that out, you manage to accomplish. We see the laugh, we see the joy. Araya on the right, Dr. O, the heroes here for ROC, for the team, going for tomorrow cast into the decided match. And if they win tomorrow, they enter playoff.
Yeah, ROC just able to hang on, and what a great performance from this team. ROC able to weather the Brazilian storm, and now they'll have another chance to stay alive, another chance potentially at Wolves. We'll see what happened in that other series soon enough, but ROC hoping that they can find their way out of this group as Ego maybe finding a win with Kaisa if he can take down Dr. O in this game. Surprised that we've seen this comp do so well. Looks like Ego finding a way to really cap it out.
Yeah, getting additional possibilities. The Aument there for the Juggernaut, getting a very beefy wall, but as we know, Dr. O has access to the backline, both with Katarina and with the Akali Battle Academia. So very difficult battle here for Ego, the acolyte of Team Liquid. He decided to assemble this great team, the best of Brazil, to represent Team Liquid, to represent the Americas, and to try to accomplish an additional acolyte for Team Liquid. Don't manage to accomplish it, so we are losing one of the favorites once again here on TFT EWC.
Yeah, and it looks like Ego will not be able to beat this Dr. O board, so we'll have a couple of fights here. It was looking like maybe TL would get first place in each of these games and still not win the series, but this time around, Dr. O is going to deny that first for Team Liquid.
Yeah, also the plan was perfect. Babsera with the early game pushing, finally not getting the final end of the Swords. Getting that 8th was so important for ROC, sending Babsera 8, griefing the rest of the unit. Couldn't find the karma, trying to play tempo, and Dr. O is just full enjoyment right now. Deserve for sure for ROC Gaming. Losing 2-0 yesterday against Wolf, against the reigning champion, the defending champion. And now with this win, great mental for them coming into tomorrow and trying to achieve a good placement on playoff.
And they were able to keep Lucas off of those mentors, right? The gangplank falling flat for TL. It looked like, oh, you hit on essentially 4-1 or late stage 3 that you get the gangplank 3 online for Lucas. Insanely strong
amazing.
Start.
Yeah.
Can't find the mentors, not able to close things out, and you can see the disappointment on the faces of the members of Team Liquid. I think they may have even thought at some point in this game that they had it in the bag, spirits were high, yet the comeback from ROC, oh so strong, and Dr. O is going to pick up the well-deserved win. The 9 lives looking questionable at some points in that game, but he proves us wrong. He survives on the very last one, finds the Katarina 3, and takes things down for
Looks
ROC.
at the camera there, being the greed, the happiness, the joyfulness, the accomplishment from ROC, coming into EWC as one of the underdogs, taking the win here. So important for them, 2-1 against Team Liquid, going out or almost going out of the group stage, and we'll see them tomorrow with a great game. Also, Cass, this is the final game of today. Has been amazing, so many elimination matches, but we still have one key to be crushed.
Yeah, they tried to have the Brazilian magic, but ROC had their counter spells and able to take down the big threat that is Team Liquid. And it's another team that's in the lead for the club championship. getting shut down here in TFT. Falcons dropped out already, Liquid gone now, and out of the top 3, only Vitality remains.
Yeah, important to recognize that this, you said, playing similar to what Wolf did last time, all the teams holding units for there was a moment where the bench was totally full for all of them, actually trying to play for that win condition, and as you said it, not hitting Mentor on the other side, maybe Lock on their side on this final game, and taking a huge win.
As we take a look at some of these highlights, you're just seeing Dr. O's kind of path to victory with the Katarina. So big for them to be able to pick this up, and a well-deserved victory for ROC. They had a tough time yesterday, one of the toughest times, in fact, against their set versus Wolves. It was just one of the most crushing performances of the entire tournament, but now they finally bring it back, and we're going to send it over to the stage for an interview with our winners.